Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
So it was a weekend that showed I don't know about the very best of A&M or the very best of Bucky Ball, right? But an intensive defensive performance that A&M felt like, I'm talking about St. Mary's game on Thursday.
Yes.
That A&M felt like they were the bigger, the badder, the better team, and it just felt that way. They physically imposed their will, maybe not offensively as much, but certainly the style of play in one game. And then the exact same thing happened for the University of Houston versus A&M, that they weren't affected by the pressure, the press, the intensity. It was like, whatever, dude. They were physically more imposing. They might win this whole darn thing.
They could. They almost did last year, right? Look, they have better basketball players. They have better shooters. They're as athletic, if not more athletic, than A&M. A&M dismantled St. Mary's because they were just better athletes.
Yep. Houston was better physically than A&M.
Houston's a better basketball team in, I get probably every facet you can think of. Who on A&M would start at Houston? Probably Rashawn Aggie. And that's it.
Yeah. So
it's okay to acknowledge that your opponent that beat you by 31 points is just better than you.
Yep.
That's what I find amazing is that A&M was in that position to play Houston.
Yeah. I think we've all talked about how successful of a season it already feels, regardless of what the outcome was this weekend after you won your first NCAA tournament game. To me, what that shows you, though, is that's what it's going to take. Mm-hmm. That's what the roster is going to have to look like if you want to compete with the big boys. We're not talking about one-offs. We know one-offs happen. Look at High Point, right? You can beat some of these teams, but to be a consistent, you have to establish a culture, which Kelvin Sampson has. You've got to get the right guys. You got to get the right matchup sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. Look, I think we've seen with Bucky McMillan, he's a heck of a coach. Right. I think he was able to wring every ounce of ability and effort out of that team.
Yep.
So with him, just putting together a roster, he can get to the tournament. You're going to expect him to get to the tournament. But you're going to have to upgrade the roster in so many areas to be able to win it. Mm-hmm. And that's his goal. And the good thing about losing to Houston in the manner in which you did is you got an illustration of what it takes.
Yep.
And where you are.
OB, I am not the tallest human being in the world. I'm about 5'10".
Okay. All right.
And I'm standing on courtside and I'm watching 3 players who play significant minutes walk right by me. And I was as tall or taller than Jakari Lane, Marcus Hill, and who was the third? Josh Holloway.
Okay.
I'm not saying you can't have little guys. I'm not saying that at all. Okay?
Did you challenge them like you did Nick?
No, God, no. Okay. No, they would take me to the hole all day. Okay. Although I'd probably get a good hack in. But then I'm looking at the Houston courts. They were jacked. They were strong.
They're not just tall the whole time, but they're all thick.
The forwards, they were wide. Their shoulders were as tall as I am, right? Like they were just that wide. It just looked different.
It's kind of like when to make a football comparison, over the years we've talked about the difference between A&M, the way receivers looked, and LSU receivers looked. It's kind of like that.
When I first got to TexAgs, I had covered the University of Houston football team.
Mm-hmm.
I come to my first Aggie football practice, and I see Michael Clemens. And I'm like, this is a Greek god.
It's a different,
And I told
species.
Billy, I knew SEC players looked different because I've covered SEC teams, but like when that's the last thing you saw was a University of Houston practice, and then you go to at that time, and you go to an A&M practice, and you see Michael Clemens and some of the other guys, the Jalen Jones of the world, just physically different, right?
Right.
Leon O'Neal at the time. You think, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. That's what Houston looked like. And now, I wish the score wasn't a 30-point blowout. I wish they didn't. The game, you take out the 18-0 run, I still think A&M loses, right?
Yeah.
Because the Houston was just better. When A&M, like, they took the lead, what was it, 8-3, 8-4, something like that. And then there was a couple of moments like they were in it, but it just looked like it was so hard to score.
Right. They hit some threes early, and that's what A&M has to do to compete. And A&M would have had one of those, unconscious games to win. Houston's better. Houston's bigger. But their big guys are also just. I've seen some teams that they're big, St. Mary's.
Yeah.
But that's about it. You know? And then these guys, Houston's big and skilled.
And good. Yeah.
And skilled. So
the part
that I would expect. But like they've proven over and over the last several years.
I'd have to ask Luke or go back through the box scores. I haven't seen a team like handle the pressure as well as Houston did. It was not a problem. I mean, how many turnovers did they have in the game?
They had 7, and one of them was self-inflicted at the very end. It was like an intentional walk. They just dribbled out because they didn't want to score. They'd already won, so they dribbled out the shot clock. And I believe, was it 2 at the half? Yeah, I think
something like that. But like every time they just they passed it the other side of the field. It was no problem. And when A&M defenders would be up on their grill, they just get off of me, Nat. It was easy. Like they just swooshed them out.
Yeah. My question is, and there's no wrong answer here because I can see both sides to this. But would you root for Houston now?
Yeah, I like Kelvin Sampson. I do. But now I don't like other fans in my mentions that I don't like. But personally, I can turn off Twitter though. But yeah, I like Kelvin Sampson. I like that staff. I like Kellen Sampson. I like them. I have history covering them. I think they're good. They were very nice to me, very respectful. I think they go about their business the right way. Yeah, I would probably root for them.
Yeah, I would too. Yes, they have some fans that were like I'm saying, I would almost say I'd hope they lose because of that guy. But you can say that about every single program.
Yeah.
If you're playing them, there's going to be.
I'm sure that people say that about our fans, right?
So, and quite frankly, I know it doesn't make you feel any better, but if you said, well, we got beat by the national champs,
Well, I mean, we do with football. We look and say, look, we lost to Miami, and Miami, was close to beating Indiana. Like, there is a little bit of that, but the bottom line is, Houston, A&M would have had to have had their best day all season long to be in it. Like, A&M hit how many threes? 6?
Is that all it was? I thought it got up to 8.
Was it 8? Okay. 8 threes.
I thought it did. Maybe not. Maybe it's 7. Maybe it's right in the middle.
It was 8. So, okay, you hit 6 of 24 is what it says here. Okay, 6 of 24.
It was only 6. Okay.
Yeah, 6 of 24.
Maybe Houston had 8.
Houston was 8 of 31.
There's the 8 that I was thinking of. Okay.
Your starters combined for 24 points, I think it was. Aggie and Dominguez, how many points did they combine for? Like 10 points, something like that?
I think Aggie was held to 7.
Yeah, and Dominguez had 5, so they had 12.
So the same amount as Josh Holloway.
Yeah. Your only one player in double figures was Josh Holloway.
Yeah.
That's either a really good night. Well, it's never a good night if you only have one guy in double figures, but if Josh Holloway's in double figures, congratulate. I thought he played great the whole tournament. I was really happy with the way he played. But if he is in double figures, one of two things is happening. Everybody's scoring or nobody's scoring, and he's the one.
Yeah. Look, you know what? If you're looking for a silver lining, it's that even though they got buried in the first half, they never stop playing hard.
No.
And I see teams that they don't want to play anymore in blowouts.
I think St. Mary's quit playing.
And that was, I think toward the end they realized it was a lost cause, or maybe they were just so tuckered out they couldn't play.
Yeah.
But I knew that. We talked about this coming into the St. Mary's game. Look, they averaged 11 turnovers a game in the WCC. I think A&M can exploit that. Maybe get them tired. They're not particularly deep. Houston plays, maybe not full court press all the time, but Houston plays with the same kind of tempo A&M plays.
Yeah.
So you're not going to wear them out.
Yeah. You're not. So, okay, let's kind of go through some of the areas where A&M had to be great and they weren't.
Okay.
We talked about the three-point shooting.
Yeah.
They weren't great.
No.
Okay, they were poor.
Forcing turnovers. You got to force turnovers to win if you're A&M.
You got to force turnovers, and then when you got to capitalize on those turnovers, right? They didn't do that. Rebounding. Every time you thought A&M might be in position, there was a taller guy or a guy who could tip it to his teammate. There was a little volleyball action going on.
Yeah.
Well, was it 19 offensive rebounds?
Was that what it finally was? Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And the second chance points. At one point, it didn't feel like that bad, but they ended up giving up. I have it written out here. 18 second chance points.
Yeah. What was the points in the paint?
Points in the paint. So points off turnovers were actually very close, by the way. 9-5 for Texas. Second chance points, 18-8. And you said points in the paint, 32 for Houston, 20 for A&M.
Okay.
A little closer than I thought.
Yeah, none of that sounds that bad. But does it? I guess it doesn't count as points in the paint when you get the ball in there, but you get fouled.
Yeah.
And then you go to the free throw line. Now look at the free throws. Didn't they hit like 20 of 25?
Yep. They were 20 of 25. A&M on the other side, 15 of 19. A lot of those calls early for Houston. It didn't make a difference in the game at all, but Houston got the benefit of some early calls.
I was annoyed. I'm not going to be one of the, they lost because of some bad calls. No. But
they lost because a better team beat them.
Right. But it was hard not to be annoyed early. I'll tell you why. You'll remember early in the game, it might have been the first foul called in the game.
It was on
Rylan Griffin.
Yeah, Rylan Griffin.
And they're coming down. He's pressing after a A&M basket, and it's about midcourt, and they call it just a touch foul. I mean, it wasn't much contact. Okay, all right, that's how you're going to call it. Fine. And then later, just a couple minutes later, I'm seeing they're going for a rebound, and they're trying to sling Aggie out of the way, and body blocking and things, and the refs didn't call anything. I'm thinking, now wait a minute. If that touch foul was a foul, why wasn't that?
Right, exactly right.
And I mean, if you're going to let them be physical, I'm all for that. But then let them be physical. And then the Frank Haith and everybody else on the sideline was like protesting, and they call a technical foul, and that didn't affect the outcome of the game. We acknowledge that, but it was annoying.
It was annoying. It's not annoying.
What's that?
I don't know. I didn't have a good segue. David Gardner's Jewelers is not annoying.
Definitely not
They're
annoying.
the opposite of that. They are. What's the opposite of annoying?
So if you're annoyed, you're bothered. They're welcoming. Welcoming. They're. I don't know. I've got to look. What's the antonym for annoy?
I think Haley's checking it out right now. We're about to find out.
I should know this after about 50 years of doing this. But
that's what they are.
Yeah.
They are engaging. They're welcome.
Engaging. What a perfect way to, because you're engaging and people get engaged. And when they want to get engaged, they go get an engaged ring. For engaging, go to David Gardner's Jewelers.
They're our presenting sponsor. This studio is presented by Rollo Insurance. It's the Rollo Insurance Studio. They are, Jason Jackson and the boys? Yeah,
Keith, Morgan. We can never forget Morgan.
No.
The rest.
We can forget Keith, but not Morgan. I'm just kidding, Keith. Let's see. This hour, we call it the Go Hour.
Yeah.
That's presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. This entire hour is dedicated to Gabe and Olin. And then if you want to call the show, you can call it on the...
Bucky's.
It's Buppy.
Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline.
I would love to see a one-on-one matchup of Bucky Ball versus Bucky Ball.
Which Bucky?
Bucky McMillan
okay.
versus Buppy from Buppy's Catering.
Basketball, I'm going to have to give Bucky the edge there.
Okay.
Maybe
Cooking,
I'm going to have to go with
Buppy.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, do that, please. Or you can text us as well on the Catalyst what?
Pure Performance Energy text line.
979-693-1150. We had a baseball game or a baseball series this weekend. I liked the Sunday game. That's what I can tell you. We go around the room and talk to a man who was a part of 2 of those games, but not the fun one. Nick Savage. Nick, good morning.
Yeah, not the fun one. They waited for Mr. Monaco to get back, and he got to have all the fun. I actually texted him during the game, and we had a laugh about it. But yeah, Aggie basketball, first want to start there. I could only go back to where we were last summer when Bucky was hired and what the expectations were for him then, and look at where we got to, right? In the round of 32, chance to upset a number 2 seed. Didn't quite get it done, obviously, but what a coaching job in year 1, and how excited, it seems like the sky's the limit with Bucky Ball. And baseball, yeah. My takeaways there is 2-4 in the SEC going into Missouri this weekend. Feels a lot better than 1-5, obviously, right? But getting a win and in the fashion that they did on Sunday, run-ruling Georgia, who slugged them to death on Friday and Saturday, kind of getting back at them. That's good to have. And Aiden Sims, too, looked really good on the mound. And Aggie starting pitching seems like they need that.
So
seems like it.
I would like for people listening, because I could look up this information, but I'm going to allow people to text the show or call. What did you think when Bucky was hired? Because I remember getting some text messages on this show, which we could go look up, and we could look at people's profiles and tell the truth, that people were not excited about the hire. There were some that were extremely excited, okay? But there were a lot like, we're going to suck next year. It's going to be a 3-year rebuild, yada. And after that, I want for people to admit if they were wrong or right? I was excited about the hire after I did more research. I'm going to be honest. I initially loved the idea of Chris Beard.
I did too.
Right? There were some reasons I wasn't excited about Chris Beard, right? But there were some he had proven he could build a program. He had done it. So that was exciting. But then, and I'll give Luke Evangelist credit for this, he was on the Bucky train before Bucky was hired. Dude, you got to pay attention to what they're doing at Sanford. This guy, he's the next hot name. And especially after that press conference, I love saying, this guy's going to win. I really feel like he gets us, and I get him.
I was curious because I didn't know Bucky McMillan. I didn't know who he was. If you would have asked me who was the coach at Sanford, I can say, oh, yeah, I remember they almost beat Kansas, but I couldn't have told you.
Yeah,
I couldn't have told you who a player is on that team until a couple of weeks ago.
Josh Holloway, by the way.
The press conference, you went, okay, this young man has some. They're all kids to me, right?
Yeah.
He has some charisma about him. I like his confidence. He was talking about you're not going to play if you don't want you got to be able to shoot.
Yeah.
And after 6 years of Buzz Williams, it was nice to hear a coach that thought actually there was value in actually being able to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
And not just rebound the miss. So I was intrigued. But I'd be lying. I never thought that he would be this successful. In fact, on this show, I said, look, if he's able to go 17-16, they should have a parade.
Yeah.
Well, should have a parade.
Should have a parade. Let's check in at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Ms. Dorsey, you've already spoken on the show, but I'm sure you got some softball news, some other news for us. Good morning. How are you?
Morning. How are y'all?
At the Angry Elephant News.
Her dad's a state trooper.
Is that right?
He's probably.
Yes.
I was fortunate to avoid him on the way on the drive home.
Yes, I wanted to piggyback off y'all's basketball talk for a little bit because we all know year 1 under Bucky wasn't perfect, but we all still think it was a huge success.
Mm-hmm.
They finished 22-12 overall, 11-7 in the SEC, tied for 4th place, made the NCAA tournament, won an NCAA tournament game, averaged 86 points per game, and they were picked near the bottom of the SEC in the beginning, and they finished in the top half. So he was able to build this team from scratch and still got them to the tournament. So now we just look forward and hope that he can, build and focus on getting bigger, more physical. But what are y'all kind of hoping to see from him in the offseason?
I hope he just gets more players in that profile, just bigger, faster, stronger guys, right?
Yeah, I think he will too, because he's not going into the portal late. I think he's going to have some money to spend, and I think he's going to be able to have more time to evaluate how to spend it. I mean, there were some players that we need some height, and this is the only guy available.
Yep.
We got to overpay, and I think you'll see him. I think you'll see, excuse me, a more talented roster at Texas A&M now. Hopefully, you'll have a roster as bought in and as tough.
Yeah.
I wish they still had Aggie around, but you can't have everything.
Can't have everything. One more thing.
Texas A&M softball also had a really strong weekend against Kentucky. They had a run rule game on Friday, 10-2 win, and then Saturday, Sydney Lessentine led them to a 7-1 win, and then they kept that momentum going with a 9-6 win yesterday. So it was a really great weekend for
great
Aggies
weekend for
softball.
Trisha and the team.
It was good to see an A&M team go out and dominate an opponent.
All right, we were in Oklahoma City.
We
walked by this place that said barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the river, right?
Yeah.
We looked up to it and we're like, nah. We got a place in Texas. We're good.
Why would I go eat barbecue in Oklahoma when I can come home and have some of the best barbecue in the world right there, just a couple miles past the airport at 1775?
How long of a drive from here? 11 minutes? 12 minutes? 14 minutes?
It
depends on the lighted bush, right?
If you catch the light, you're there in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With the lights,
12
to 15 with the lights. So that's an easy drive out there. Plus, you get to get out and look at some of the countryside, and then you get there and get some amazing barbecue.
You get succulent what?
Succulent brisket.
Yeah. And then amazing what?
Amazing pork ribs.
And what's the other one you do?
I change them out, but the tremendous. How about tremendous? Tremendous jalapeno cheese sausage. Outstanding.
How about the marvelous queso mac and cheese?
It's Larapin, man. It's Larapin.
Yeah. And turkey.
Turkey,
If you want to watch your weight, like David.
Like David does. And let me tell you something. Look, I'm a fat guy, and I like the turkey. I mean, it's really good. So you can't go wrong with the turkey, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
you gobble it up. Gobble.
And, we talked about steps. We could walk to 1775 and get our daily step
steps
count.
In.
Yeah. We should do that. How many steps you had today, you think?
Probably about 100 so far.
Okay. It's 1775txbbq.com, 979-492-6241. It is 1775.
And it's good.
Everyone, David Nuño here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever, and also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group, and they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em.
And we're... My mic on? There it is. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, I was telling you, I will not be doing the show on Thursday.
Okay.
I'm doing this thing called High Rocks.
Okay.
It's at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, some event. I'm curious because there are a lot of, it was sold out within seconds, apparently, and they opened up a couple of days if any of our viewers or listeners are going to be participating in the High Rocks.
All right. So you're going to run, and then you're going to do different
events.
Lifting events.
Yeah. It's 5 miles running in total with 8 different intervals in between.
Okay.
Wall balls, burpees, burpee broad jump, excuse me. It's lunges.
A burpee broad jump?
Yeah,
I know what burpees are.
You got to go 100 meters.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to jump into a burpee, pop up, jump into the whole length of the field.
Oh, so you don't run a full 100 meters and then do it.
No.
You do it for
burpeeing
100 meters.
Yes, correct.
Okay. That's hard.
Yeah, I hate
don't like
burpees. Burpees suck.
I don't like burping. But
you do it.
I can do that a lot better than I can do burpees.
So I won't be doing the show Thursday. We'll figure out who's going to host. Either Bronny, Nick, or Pablo. Somebody will do it. Pablo's good. I like when he does the show. Anyway, I think the turning point of the game Saturday is obvious. It's when Houston showed that we're Houston. This is what we do. And A&M was missing. Okay, it was the 18-0 run for me, right? 18-0 run. Zach Clements hits a 3, makes it 25-24. Okay, You're feeling, dude, if we could just stay close, like maybe, right? And then the offense went cold. I don't know how long it was without scoring a bucket, maybe 3.5, 4 minutes.
I think it's closer to 6.
6 minutes without a bucket?
I think so. I may be off on that, but I know they...
Yeah, 6 minutes. Yeah, you're correct. 12 consecutive shots.
12 and 3 turnovers mixed in. So 15 fruitless possessions.
Yeah, to me, that was it. And
they weren't coming back.
They weren't getting good shots.
No. Credit UH for that.
Yeah, absolutely. They were not getting good shots, and they were making mistakes on top of that.
And credit UH for forcing some of those mistakes, too. So.
Yep. I'm a believer that when your team doesn't make... I forget if it was St. Mary's, their coach was like, we just didn't do this, or this. It's because the other team had an effect on what you were trying to do. Right. There's a reason for it. It's not just because you weren't hitting shots. Some of the shots A&M wasn't hitting were rushed.
Yeah.
Or I thought, in my opinion, there was a couple times that they passed up opportunities, just a split second where Ruben or whomever had a chance. They waited a second, then the defense was there.
It was the best shot they had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't maybe
wasn't
just
that
a
good
perfect situation, but it was the best shot they were going to get in that 30-second interval.
Correct. So to me, that credit to Houston, credit to, and I forget who I was talking to, but basically Houston had, A&M had Houston's attention. And I think if you listen to Kelvin Sampson in that press conference before the game, he alluded to A&M looks good. Right? And my team, we're going to have to play our best brand of basketball. And there was a timeout after the 25-24. Kelvin brought the team over, and then they just went to work.
Yeah. You mentioned it early. Texas A&M was going to have to play almost flawless basketball. They were going to have to shoot the lights out.
Yep.
And then that was going to give them a chance. And they didn't shoot the lights out. And Houston was a big part of that. Some of it was self-inflicted, but the majority of that was just Houston, like you said earlier, the other team, don't be like the St. Mary's coach, acknowledge the other team. And Houston forced A&M. It didn't have to be that bad.
Yeah.
But, they exerted their dominance.
Shout out to Bucky McMillan. So the press conference was cut short, right?
Yeah.
Because the NCAA has a timing window.
Time limit.
So he only got to go for how long? I wasn't in there.
I think both together supposed to be like 20 to 30 minutes, right?
Right.
And there were so many questions asked to the players, and the answers were kind of long that Bucky could only take 2 questions before they're out of time.
So then the press conference ends, and Bucky takes questions from the local media on his own, and he answered everything we asked. There was no time limit. And he was transparent. He was great. So shout out, and he's coming in the studio today, by the way.
We appreciate that. You know,
I don't know if in the prior regime they would have done that.
It wouldn't. In fact, I know that for a fact because
it happened.
It happened.
Yeah.
Right? Hey, so, a coach that doesn't mind talking to the game, that understands the importance of your local media and dealing with them, because no one is going to read and hear and talk about your team more than and reach your fans more than your local media.
He even thanked us. He's like, you guys came all the way this way. Thank you for what you do for us. You're a big part of what we do. We're not, but thank you. Thank you. We love getting the message out. But he just a stand-up dude.
I can't think of anything yet to be critical of the guy.
Yeah.
Everything about the guy is just makes you want him to be your coach.
Absolutely.
I like the style of play. I like the way his players bought in and played for him. I like his philosophy. Hey, let's get more possessions and take more shots, and let's get shooters to make those shots.
Yep.
And then, the way he acknowledges, the fact he did the watch party. It's his idea. Great, great time.
Yeah.
And he's out there actually talking and signing autographs and valuing his fans who support him, unlike, the previous regime.
All right, let's hit a break. When we come back, spring football. Always a good time to talk football?
Never a bad time to talk college football.
We're going to talk some football. I'm going to ask you about, I don't know how I want to phrase it. I think I wrote it on the rundown. Basically, I want to ask you about players that could change the trajectory of the season.
Okay.
I wrote down a few names, and there's many. But if this player hits their top potential, what could that do for the season? Okay. We're going to go through it. And you can name some players. I wrote down a few names. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Insurance decisions should not be made in 15 minutes or less. That's why you need the Rollo Insurance Group to take care of you, because they're going to know your entire story. They're going to know your family. They're going to know all about you, what your challenges are, because they want to make sure they put you in the right situation. They're local. They're right here in College Station, but they're all over Texas with 60 offices in Texas, and you can find them all around the country. Rollo Insurance is the ones who take care of me. They'll explain everything to you in plain language so you understand exactly what your policy covers and what it doesn't cover, and they'll make sure that you can make choices based on the information that you have. Visit RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs. It's Rollo Insurance. So we went to Toby Keith's restaurant. I liked it.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a good vibe in there.
It had the games on, big screen.
Yeah.
It was.
And which game was that?
Vanderbilt? No. It was Kentucky and
who? What? It was a little team. That High Point.
Why am I?
Somebody yell! God,
why am I forgetting?
Dementia, Nuño, and Olin. Come on, we just Santa Clara. Thank you.
Santa Clara, yeah.
That place went wild when the back-to-back
First of all, they went wild when Santa Clara hit the three.
Yes.
So it looked like they were going to win it.
And 2.4 seconds later.
And then they went wild when Kentucky.
Yeah.
Golly, that was crazy.
It was.
But the food was good. I had some catfish.
Food was
it was
cool.
really good.
I love seeing the pictures on the wall. Toby's sleeveless pic where he's looking like Pat McAfee, it was all jacked.
We're going to expect to see in the not too distant future a new restaurant in College Station called Nuño's, so he can put his jacked picture up there.
Dude, I got an OnlyFans page. You can check it out there.
Would you go over there Midlothian to see that one?
What?
To go to David Nuño's restaurant?
If they had one?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, Winnie has one.
Oh, Winnie has one.
Yeah.
I'm specializing in Cuban food.
Yeah, broccoli and turkey. Anyway, let's get to some football talk, OB.
Let's do it.
All right. By the way, Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, 979-693-1150 if you want to chit-chat with us. All right, and I don't know if anybody's called the show because I haven't looked at the chat, so Nick will let me know. Players that could change the trajectory of the season.
Okay. Well,
I picked a few names.
Okay, let's hear what you say.
You want me to throw some names at you and you talk about it? Or do you, because here's one.
I would like to
nominate somebody?
No, see if how similar we are.
If Reuben Owens reaches his full potential, okay, we know what this offense looks like with a great Le'Veon Moss. If Reuben Owens can get close to that level, and he had a nice year, but he's not that yet.
Reuben is faster than Le'Veon. So you have more of a big play potential with Reuben. Now, what Reuben has to do is be a more physical back, break a few more tackles. I think back about a game against Texas. There was a play where, and look, this happens to everybody. I'm not trying to criticize Reuben. I'm just saying, here's an example.
Yep.
And I think he was going off right tackle, maybe right in, and it's kind of bundled up. He breaks out. He bounces out a little bit, and he gets a 4-yard gain, but somebody was able to reach up and get him down. It could have been 40. And that's what you're looking for, the guy that can just run through a tackle, too. Now, maybe everybody would have most people would have been stopped on that, but we saw Reuben at El Campo High School being this guy that was a lightning bolt that could make big plays. Okay, that's high school. Well, then we saw it against Missouri.
Sure.
So he has big play potential. Just add a little more physicality to it.
I'm going to throw another one. Okay. And there's multiple names you could put on the defensive line. Okay. I chose Marco Jones.
Absolutely. I'd say Marco Jones, too. Look,
Marco becomes Cassius-esque.
Right. Or maybe it's the kid, and I'm having some trouble with the remembering, because I've been all on basketball, but remembering some of the transfer portal guys, but the kid from Northwestern, who's supposed to, I hear him yelling the name.
Nick, you can Anto Saka.
Saka, right.
Saka.
Somebody to come in and be that guy that replaces the pass rush. The same way Cassius did last year, because this time last year we were wondering, where's the pass rush going to come from? Well, it came from the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. That's where it came from.
So
I'm with you on Marco
Jones could change the trajectory of the season if he reaches that potential. If Ricky Gibson reaches Will Lee or more, what is that? Because I think Des Rex is going to continue taking steps. Billy's already spoken glowingly about Julio Humphrey, right? That he's had a really nice, they have big expectations for him. If Ricky Gibson reaches Will Lee or beyond levels, what does that do for that secondary?
Well, I mean, you think about how good Will Lee was and all the things that he does for it. And if you can, if you have somebody that can step in and you don't, quote, miss Will Lee, that's huge. In fact, going in, that's the biggest, maybe the biggest question mark, the biggest unknown in the secondary. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the biggest issue. It's just the biggest unknown because they got to get better at safety and they got to get some interceptions. But if this Ricky Gibson guy can be the same player or even, hopefully even better than Willie, then you don't have to worry so much about that corner.
Yeah, exactly right. Mike wants us to talk some baseball. We've got Coach Earley and Brauninger coming up right at 9 o'clock. You're going to get a whole half hour back-to-back of baseball talk here in a second.
Fertitta, though.
Huh?
I like Fertitta a lot.
Do you?
Go Fertitta.
Fertitta. Yeah, not Fertitta.
Did I say the?
I thought you said Tillman Fertitta. I was like,
Partita.
yeah. I mean, Grand Slam.
Grand Slam, another. 5 RBIs, I think.
All right. Let's
moving on.
Isaiah Horton.
Big one. He's replacing the best player.
Yeah, he's replacing KC, and he's a different style of player, right? But if he reaches what we thought, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase this. He's a big wide receiver. He's a big target. If he can be that, I can just imagine what he could have done last year with KC out there. Because so let's just say ABR takes a huge step, okay? And we already know Mario Craver, what he is, and if he's even better. If Isaiah gives you that big target and he reaches that potential, what that does for the offense, I think, is ridiculous.
I think he can make a similar impact in a different way that KC made. I don't expect him to take a short pass against Missouri, make one move, and turn it into a kind of momentum-changing 40-yard touchdown run, right? I don't expect him to do that. I don't expect him to return a couple of punts for touchdowns, but he can still be this productive receiver and, like you said, a big target that they haven't had before that gets even more 50-50 balls maybe than KC. Now, maybe he won't have the same numbers. Maybe he'll have better numbers, but he's definitely going to have his opportunities.
We'll do one more,
all right,
and then if you want to throw some, you can. We've already talked about this guy several times. But what if Marcel Reed takes that big step?
If Marcel Reed takes the next step, which means just, hey, let's say he cuts his interception total in half or even better. So what do you have, 12? Gets it down to 6. And what if none of them are in the red zone?
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. Then, if he threw for 3,000 yards last year.
Yeah.
He ran for another 500 or 600. What if he improves on both of those?
Right.
And that's not a stretch. So then he becomes the Heisman Trophy contender that he was until the Texas game last year.
What other players you think could be in this conversation?
Okay, well, I got a couple of Tyree Adams.
Tyree Adams,
and all the guys. I think he's the guy that's most likely, and I could be wrong on this. It could be Tyree Adams or whoever replaces whoever replaces Trey Zoom.
Okay.
Because I thought Trey Zoom was the best offensive lineman last year. I think replacing the right side is going to be easier than replacing the left. And I think that I've always said a good football team has to have a good offensive line. So I'm going to start with replacing the best player, right? I think another guy that I'm really interested in is Ray Coney.
Yeah.
I think if he's the athletic, badass linebacker that we hear they may be, then you're replacing your leading tackler, and I think you can keep them from having a decline at linebacker, and then of course any number of defensive linemen. Who's the best defensive lineman? Maybe it's just DJ Hicks developing to be the best player he's been, to play his best year.
Yep.
Have his best year as a college player.
At some point, we'll probably do a topic where I'm like, players who are going to break out that we weren't expecting. Because to me, Damian Sanford last year, I mean, he got thrust to action in that Notre Dame game, and he just kept on living up to it. Like, it wasn't just one game. He played very well all season long. There's going to be a player next year. Maybe it's Noah McHale, somebody that we're not expecting today. And I think people are expecting some big things from Noah McHale. But that next year, like, look at the impact this young man just had.
Yeah, I wonder who that could be.
We can think about it. Hit a break. Come back. Final segment here on the Go Hour. Right now, Land and Rink, maybe. Yeah. We're talking about heritage films. They're preserving family stories that would otherwise be lost forever. My buddy Chance runs this company. He likes to tell people stories. You have a story. Your dad's got a story. Your mom's got a story. Your uncle's got a story. Haley's got a story. Olin's got a story. We all got stories, right? To capture that story into a 2-hour documentary form, the kind that you watch on television, the kind that you watch on Netflix, on wherever you get your information from. Chance McClain does that, but for normal families, for normal family operations, businesses, and family ranches, you name it. That's what Heritage Films does. It's not just a service, it's a time machine for your family's most precious moments. Call Chance and his team up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341, or go to yourheritagefilm.com. That is yourheritagefilm.com.
I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
Your playlist?
I'm having flashbacks to our drive up to Oklahoma.
Okay. There was a lot of country on that drive.
Yeah, there was. I got introduced to Ella Langley.
Gosh,
and I liked
so
that.
great.
And then I liked it so much, I went and...
did you Google her?
I did YouTube, to listen.
Yeah.
And then I liked her even more.
Yeah, she's got great personality.
Yeah.
Great singer. Anyway, did you think of any other players that could change? Well, by the way, what was that song, Nick? It was like a rap heavy metal song.
It was POD is the name of the band.
Does that stand for something we shouldn't say?
No, I honestly don't know. I think they're like a Christian rock band. This
Really?
is from like the early 2000s. That song's been around forever.
POD.
Okay.
Better than POS.
That's true.
Yeah, whatever that means. Anyway, did you think of anybody else?
Well, I mentioned Landon Rink on the way out.
Yeah.
And DJ Sanders, both of those guys, the young guys that were tackles that they were so excited about. And look, it's a line of scrimmage league.
Somebody on that offense, that whole offensive line,
offensive line, defensive line, those guys are going to have to be good.
Yeah.
So that's one of the areas I'm always going to look at.
Let's check in with Haley Dorsey at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I know you got something good for us.
I do. I wanted to shout out track and field because they had their first outdoor events this weekend at the UTSA Invitational. They won 4 events on day 1 in the men's and women's javelin, and then the men's long jump and women's shot put. Then they brought that momentum into the second day. Overall, it was a balanced event or weekend to start the outdoor season, and they now head to North Carolina this weekend for the rally relays.
Props to Coach Henry and the company.
You ever throw the javelin?
Never in my life. I don't think I've ever touched the javelin. I think I would stab somebody on accident. I feel like I pinpoint accuracy throwing that.
Yeah. I could see you as a javelin chunker.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what about me strikes you as a javelin chunker?
Big
Are they strong?
Muscle, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's very kind of you.
One of those Palomo brothers used to throw the,
that's
throw
right.
the javelin.
That's right.
And then there's Roger. I've already forgotten Roger's name. He was a coach. He's really, really good at it.
Okay.
Yeah. Ty Hoskins. I used to cover a lot of track back in the 90s.
Tyler, right? For Ty?
Yeah, Ty. Louisiana kid.
Yeah, he's from Louisiana, right?
Big, strong guy.
Yeah. I don't know who you're talking about. All right.
He's a javelin thrower.
Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, Ty.
When we come back on TexAgs Live, no more Olin, Michael Earley, Ryan Brauninger, baseball talk for the next half hour. That and more. You're listening to TexAgs Live. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Got Michael Earley in studio, Ryan Brauninger to talk a little Aggie baseball. Coach Earley, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So how satisfying was yesterday after the way the first couple games in the series went and seeing the offense erupt?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't get swept, period. It's a 30-game schedule. We lost the series. We didn't do what we had to do for 3 games. But, for 2 games we got pushed around a little bit, and it was good to see a response. We need to win, but at the same time, we still have not played our best baseball. Shown glimpses of it, right, in a lot of games, but we got to finish. But yesterday was definitely a positive because you just in this league you gotta hang on. You can't get swept.
Was Saturday the most disappointed that you've been in terms of your team, like the overall response?
Yeah, I think it's the first time. I think it's definitely the first time we've lost 2 in a row. First time that I felt like we kind of got beat up and then got beat up again. So yeah, for sure. I mean, it wasn't what we expect or what we want, but baseball's tough sport, really good team. We definitely did some things to get in our own way, but they also played really well. So all we could do is come out Sunday and take care of business.
Well, I think if I'd have told you going into the weekend that you would have run the Georgia starters most of them before the 4th inning, you'd be like, yeah, I'll take that. But their bullpen did a really good job. And go back to Friday night with Justin Bird, a guy who came in with a sub-1 whip, and the numbers were good. And we were talking before the segment started, was the breaking ball from Bird really put y'all in like some really, I thought, some separated swings. So what did y'all see from him? And to me, that was one of the bigger stories of the weekend was Georgia's bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, he was just on a breaking ball that we couldn't hit or we were chasing. He did a really good job putting it in the zone when he wanted and out of it. And what we didn't do is you got to win that game on Friday, because one thing we did well was we got into the bullpen. We used those 2 guys where they weren't available for Sunday. We chased their starter early, and then it gets out of hand. So we're doing that part right. The part that you got to ultimately do right is you got to win. Right?
Okay.
I don't think we've let a starter pass the 4th inning all year on any SEC team. 6 games, no starters got past the 4th, and we're just not finishing those games or getting that hit or making that pitch to where now we get to game 2 and 3 and you got them on the ropes. So it's not frustrating. It's more encouraging just because I like our group, but you got to win, and we're just not finishing those. We're doing just enough to get one. We're doing enough to get one and just finishing just short of being that complete team.
And then you go back and you take inventory of how you guys have pitched, because for my opinion, in 4 of the 6 SEC games, you guys have played well offensively enough to win. In 5 of the 6 SEC games, you guys have played well enough defensively to win. The pitching is what you've been trying to manage, especially with the injuries and the shortened bullpen. But how do you kind of take inventory of the starts by Shane and Weston? Obviously, Aiden's was pretty simple.
I thought Shane had a really good start on Friday. I mean, he gave up a couple homers, which gave up the runs, but at the same time, we got to score. Right, you chase a starter in the 2nd, or what was it?
Was out the second,
you got to score. So when you score, it changes kind of how the other team feels. You saw it was for us yesterday. You get a lead, put pressure on them, it changes. It just changes the whole game. So Shane, while they got him early, he stayed in it. And he punched out 11 guys, and he gave us a chance to win. We did not score enough for him to kind of, it just changes the pressure of the game. I still think Weston we haven't seen the best of him. We're going to need him to get better. We saw a little bit of it at Oklahoma, glimpses against Georgia. We need him to put together a complete game. And Sims was great. I thought last weekend, I'm hoping, and I thought it was an anomaly. I didn't think that's who he was. I thought the conditions got to him a little bit, as everyone else, but he's been really, really good. He's been such an important role on that day 3, because you can do 3 things. You can sweep, win the series, or get swept. And, he's been good.
So, I mean, with you saying that, there's not been any discussion in terms of changing the rotation.
No, I mean, look, our pitching's our pitching, right? And that's those guys we feel, and I strongly feel, give us the best chance right now with how we have it mapped out. With Gavin coming behind Weston a few times. Yeah, I mean, just to get to our ceiling where we need those guys to be good. No doubt about it. It's clear as day. We need those 3 guys to be good. And I think 2 of the 3 have been, you can see it. I think the other one is shown glimpses, and he's just got to get better and put together a complete game.
Was there a message before Sunday's game, and then what was the message after the game?
Just before it was, offensively, it's we wanted to be on attack, right? And we always want to be on attack. It's like part of the offense and the whole plan is swing at strikes, take balls. Well, you got to swing at strikes and you got to damage them. So we were really wanting to hunt fastballs and take the off-speed pitches. And, their pitcher kind of played right into it. He wasn't able to locate his off-speed pitch. And so on the fastball in the zone, our guys were all over it. Like Gavin Grahovic, first pitch of the game, like, let's go. I thought, even though he got out, I thought he kind of set the tone. And then after the game, and the message is first of all, like, we didn't accomplish what we needed to accomplish. Like, this is not a win. Like, we lost. But also at the same time, like, you got to credit them for their ability to have resilience, win a game, because good teams don't get swept, right? You find a way to win one. Now, great teams win series, and we're just kind of knocking on that door. So it's not a mixed message. It's a two-part message. Like, please understand that we didn't win the series, but great job, like, coming out today and winning this, because it's a series, right? It's always 3 games, but it's a 30-game set, and you got to grab wins when you can get wins.
Well, you can only take care of the right now, right? Friday and Saturday are already done.
For sure. It's over. You got to move. So you play the next game and you win. So that part that's good, and it's tough to do.
On Saturday, I thought an enormous part of the game, especially when in the middle innings when it was still tight, was Georgia's outcomes on 3-2 counts. And whether they were on offense or on defense, like, you guys would be at the plate and you get in a 3-2 count, and y'all may foul a couple balls off, but then it was a chase out of the zone, right?
Yeah,
it has to be super frustrating.
It is, because it's, I get it's sometimes in the moment in the game as a coach, you see it way differently than it actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, we're chasing a ton. That game, we chased 15% of the time. They just happened to be when it mattered.
Right.
15%, by the way, is extremely low. Extremely low. But when it happens in every 3-2 counts and there's a few egregious ones, and when it really matters, it doesn't matter if it's 15%. It can be 4%. If they all happen at the wrong times, that's what gets you beat.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, to me, a huge turning point. And they got away from you a little bit late, but it was close. And it was like you guys were in leverage situations to really – it felt like the ballpark and your team just needed one more guy to get on base.
For sure.
And Georgia would get the outcome. And so I think that was the deflating part about Saturday. But then you go into Sunday and you have a change at DH. And Bendy comes in, and Bendy has been really good in his little windows.
Yeah.
And was productive again yesterday. So kind of how do you balance he and Wesley's spot in that DH?
Yeah, it's just I want to say it's going to be day to day or person to person. I still think Wesley Jordan at his very best is not an elite hitter, but shows some like really good tendencies, like a real 4-hole hitter. And I think Bendy does the same thing too. So I think we're going to need them both and some other guys. And I think Jorian's close to getting in there. I think Wes is a phenomenal player. He's just struggling a little bit. I don't know if it's the injury or what it is, but I think he's better. I know he's better than what he's been playing. I think for us to be the very top, we're going to need him to be very good. We're going to need Bendy to be very good.
Well, let's talk about Jorian since you brought him up. So it was the perfect Jorian Wilson experience for those of you that have, like, we've talked about Jorian a lot. So he comes in and he's facing a really, it's firm. It's 97 to 99 on in-stadium gun. First pitch he sees, rocket double to right field. Then he gets on base and he doesn't go on a ground ball to the right side. And then he doesn't see the ball short hop the third baseman, so he kind of gets hung up in no man's land. How do you just kind of keep bringing Jorian along? Because it's even for somebody that doesn't know baseball, they can walk out there and look at that kid and go, "That's different."
Yeah, I think moments like that, as negative as they may look, are extremely positive because he's made a lot of mistakes, but he hasn't made a lot of those twice, or if any of them twice. So kind of a blunder of a couple plays for him, which no one hated it more than him, and luckily for him and us, the game was a little bit out of reach, but I think getting him in there like that and letting mistakes happen because he's such a smart dude and just an awesome guy that he doesn't let them happen twice. So if anything, it's definitely a positive just because of the score and it didn't matter.
There's a couple other guys I thought that, Grant Cunningham doesn't need cheap experience, but he did give you something on the back end of 2 games. And then Cooper Powell made another appearance.
Yeah.
And as you look for just ways to lengthen the bullpen, I think me and you would both sit here and agree, like, in order for y'all's bullpen to be really good, like Ethan Darden and Juan Vargas have to be good. Like they just have to.
Yep.
But outside of those two, and Fresh has been good the whole year. But outside of those two, as you look to kind of lengthen what you got down there, where do Cooper Powell and Grant Cunningham sit?
Yeah, I think Grant can really help us. I really do. And I think I told you guys this after Oklahoma, and I told him this. And it happened again in Georgia. Like it's 2 different guys, but it's the same guy. And it's one guy that you can see can really, really help you, and one guy that just can't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's about him and pulling out the best of him, because I believe in Grant a ton, and I really do think he can help us. And it's great to get Cooper back out there. Good for him, man. Good for him. Good for the team. He's going to get more opportunities. And same thing, Hunter Vincent's kind of right there. He's had some good ones, had some inconsistent ones. So all those guys are going to have to be good. I mean, it's not our bullpen is our bullpen, right? We had some guys go down, but we got the right guys. We just got to get the right performance out of them consistently. And it's just like Georgia. Georgia's pen's similar to us. Had 2 guys really come in, fill it up. That's what it is. You need 8, 9, 10 guys on a whole pitching staff, and you can win, right? And that's just what it is.
We see Nico's production, obviously, but what is something we don't see about him that has stood out to you so far?
I think he, he's over the course of last week and before yesterday, Saturday, I kind of felt like he got going. But before that, he was really struggling. How he handled it was great, because I get to see him behind the scenes. The cage wasn't like a panic. It wasn't anything. It was just like, hey, we need to get on time more. We need to be a little slower when we start. Nothing crazy, which I think for a freshman is pretty hard to do. I mean, I've seen older guys handle that a lot worse. So he's, I think the maturity level of it is why he was able to come out yesterday and do what he did. But he's just a phenomenal kid, phenomenal player. And when you mix those two together and you're consistent, you're going to have games like he did.
It got back into his honey hole, up the middle the other way, and that's where he's on the barrel. Like when the ball starts flying that direction, to your point, Saturday night was like, all right, like that's the Nico, the tail end of that game. And then obviously an enormous day yesterday. But overall, are you pretty pleased with kind of how the order has settled in? Obviously, we'll see what happens with DH, but kind of in their spots. Dewar was great in the 4-hole yesterday.
Yeah, I like Jake there. At least I did yesterday, just because there's some times he was left on deck in some situations. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care if it's left on left and that wasn't the decision. I mean, there's righties the day before. So, yeah, Jake's been really good, and just that ability to get hits with guys on base. But yeah, I mean, I like the lineup. I mean, we've been pretty good offensively this year. I mean, there's been some moments that we haven't been good. But if you look at overall production of our guys, we're walking and getting hit more than we strike out. And we hit 1 home run this weekend, which if you'd have told me that in 3 games like that part, no, but I'm never going to push guys for power. It's just about hitting the ball hard. But yeah, I like how the lineup's going. Gavin's really going. Sorrell's going. We still haven't seen the best of Chris, and he's still been pretty good. So yeah, it's been solid.
And then on Friday night, I talked about it a little bit, but I thought it was your worst defensive game. You had 3 errors. You botch your rundown. You didn't give the ball up, but you guys bounce back and don't have another blemish there for the next 2 days. Just speak to what Cliff has done. I think the fielding percentage is still over 980.
Oh, it's been phenomenal. I mean, we're not going to play a perfect season
right
on any part of it, right? And you don't want it, but it's going to happen. And it's, again, like, does it continue to happen? And anytime we've made any sort of mistakes defensively, yeah, he's done a great job. I mean, he had the rundown play. We do those all the time. Like,
just got to give the ball up.
Coach can't make you throw the ball. You got to throw the ball, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cliff's done a phenomenal job in all aspects of the program, but specifically defensively. I mean, it's evident, especially with 2 young guys on the left side.
Coach Earley, let's talk about the week ahead. Got HCU coming up, and then obviously the trip to Como.
Yeah, I mean, it's again another week in the SEC. I mean, HCU is a really good team, and look forward to having them come in there. One of their coaches played at Arizona State with me for a year, so I haven't seen him in a long time. So that'd be cool to see him after the game. Hopefully we win. And then just going. I've never been to Missouri. I've never played there, so yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, they're a good team, real good team.
They're way better. Yeah, they're clearly better.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all know it doesn't really matter what we think they are or what they're not, right? Like it's just it is what it is, right? So yeah, I mean, for sure, I think they're probably a better team than they were, and they've done a good job of. But who am I to say they're a better team? You know what I mean? So it's going to be a tough week. HEU is going to come in here wanting to win another, Texas school mid-major. Those are always like those guys come in. You can see it if they get up on us. You saw it against Texas State, like the dugout. They're having a party over there, which is great. And then we go to Missouri, which is going to be a tough one for sure.
How do you plan? Do you have any kind of plan on how you're going to handle the midweek in terms of the mound? Because you've got some guys. Freshcorn barely threw on the weekend. Darden barely threw on the weekend. I think you've got some of your frontline guys available, but how do you kind of balance getting those guys the innings they need while also, maybe looking to expand what you've got?
Yeah, I'd like to get some other guys in there for sure. But number one, we got to win the games, and guys they got to pitch. So it's like Fresh had to pitch yesterday. I know what the score looks like, but he didn't pitch all weekend. You don't recharge your battery and rest by not throwing. Like that's actually how you will get hurt if you don't have your pitch. Same thing with Sims. So yeah, it's a balance for sure, and I want to see some other guys get in there and have a role and do stuff. So it's one of those where you kind of take it inning by inning and kind of see where the game lies.
Yeah, having a plan could end up backfiring in the first inning.
It's real tough
to do something.
You have a plan on Tuesday, and those really can blow up really, really quick. Yeah. But you got to kind of have a skeleton of it, see where you want to go. But they can really, really change.
Real quick, because you brought up Sims, y'all's process of with timing on long innings and then going back out, and because we're gonna get a bunch of questions about it. It's like where, not that it was right or wrong, but where is how do y'all go about making the decision in terms of length of time, how many pitches they've thrown, that kind of stuff?
I think it all depends on the guy, and Aiden's a guy that can really throw, and we have the ability to stay loose in the dugout. It was purely it's like a pitch count thing. If you don't reach a certain pitch count, it's not great for you the next week. So if he comes out at 70-some pitches, I don't know if I love it if I need him to go 100 the next week. It's just sometimes you don't have a choice. But it really depends on the guy, and he's that type of guy that he can stay loose and go in there. Not every guy's the same. That's really, really important to understand that some guys are different, and they probably, how Aiden pitches, he's able to do that.
Well, and Freshcorn had a big sit down too after, because they had the long, lengthy review after you brought him in, and then he had to go back for the seventh.
Yeah, I mean, that one's not nearly as long as what Sims was. But yeah, these guys, it's a balance, right? We need to get other guys in there to throw to see if they can help us. But it's also those guys have to throw too, because we definitely need those guys to be good. And
Absolutely.
You can't not throw. You have to throw.
Yep, I get it.
Coach Earley, thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
We'll hit a break, a little bit more with Brauninger on the other side. You're listening to the TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Now we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2. Bronny's still in studio with us. Bronny, this is baseball season now, right? Like, I know it's been baseball season for you all.
I'm glad you've turned your attention.
Well, I mean, like, basketball's over, right? And now
congratulations to Bucky McMillan and his team. What an incredible run, way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, fun. People ask me all the time about, like, the coaches we deal with. All of them do. Like, it hasn't always been this way, but all of them are great. Like, they're all very, like, Michael's awesome. He didn't have to come in here after that weekend, right? He comes in here, and Bucky's coming in later.
I don't know that
today.
he would have done it last year. Remember last year he called in a bunch, and it was like it was hard to get a feel for what he was actually thinking, and I think he was probably wearing the losses pretty hard early on last year, searching for answers. And, like we said before the season even started, he's just more confident in himself. And it's funny to me, all this stuff, and I've said this from day one, like they've made overarching changes in the program. There's no doubt that they did that. Like the hit-by-pitch plan, the day-to-day expectations, all this stuff, they made those changes, but it doesn't guarantee you're going to win. All it guarantees is like you're not going to do it like you did last year.
Yeah.
Like we're trying to fix what happened. And so they went out and they're trying to fix what happened. And 2-4 to start the league isn't good enough. 3-3 would have been. So you're right there, and I think the manner in which the first 2 games happened against Georgia left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. And so you start to break down that series, and I'm going to write it today. Like Friday night was just, you played bad. You played bad. There wasn't one particular area of the game where you could point at and go, hey, A&M played good here. Georgia just outplayed them in these other spots. Georgia was better. And I guess starting pitching, you could give the edge to Shane Sadeo. He gave up 5 runs, but he competed his tail off. And that is why he's your Friday night guy. Like, that's the kind of mentality, that's the kind of makeup you want leading your line of a pitching staff. Shane's got it. And when Shane's going good, Shane matches that mentality with good stuff, and it puts you in a good position on Fridays. He's just not been great the first 2 Fridays of the year. Is that what he's going to be the rest of the year? We'll see. But I like Shane's mentality on Fridays. He gets beat up a little bit, but still punches out 11. Outside of that, though, A&M did not play well at all. At all. And really, to me, that's more palatable as a coach, because you're like, all right, you're going to have days where nobody plays well. That's just chalk it up to baseball. Let's attack tomorrow. That's where Saturday was so disappointing. And it's really not all that dissimilar from the Penn series where you were disappointed with Friday, but you won, and Saturday was even worse, but you still won. The difference is who's in the other dugout.
Right.
Whereas Penn, you could play that way and not have to learn through a loss. You can't do that with Georgia. They're too good. I think that is the most complete Georgia team that I've seen since Wes Johnson's been there. 1 through 9, really 1 through like 11 or 12 offensively. They can really do it. I don't know where they found Daniel Jackson from. I know he came from Wofford. That dude is incredible.
Yeah.
Leading the league in homers, over 400 batting average, leading their team in steals. He hit a ball over section 12 as a right-handed hitter. The opposite field gap. He hit it over section 12. I don't think I've ever seen that. They've got some real dudes in that lineup. So Wes Johnson and that team, if they're going to hit like that, like they did against A&M on the road all year, they are going to be a national seed. That is a real team. But if you're Texas A&M, that's what's left on your schedule is real teams. You have to start beating them. And Coach Earley has not minced his words. We have got to win. He knows what's at stake. Like, you don't have to, browbeat this point of what's going to happen with the future of the program.
Sure.
The guy running it knows they have to win. So how do you kind of manage what you've got throughout the duration of the season and win? Like, they've got to make some really tough decisions with the bullpen. And what helps the bullpen? The starters being better. Bullpen was great yesterday. He only played 7 innings, and Aiden Sims was awesome in the first 5. Incredible in the first 5. So starting pitching will go a long way. And I still think if you're looking at this pitching staff, most of your belief is with those 3 starters. But they can't reach their ceiling as a team without Ethan Darden being good. Ethan Darden has struggled to start conference play. They can't reach their ceiling as a team without Juan Vargas, Clayton Freshcorn. Like, these frontline bullpen arms have got to be really good with Josh Stewart no longer available. Just point blank, period, end of story.
Yeah.
They've got to be good. Now, you can take the load off of them by not having them get as many outs. And I should throw Gavin Lyons in there. Gavin Lyons has been awesome. Gavin Lyons has been really good. And he's turned into a pretty pivotal piece for this team. But the starters getting more length. That's why Shane, like, fighting through Friday night, even though he wasn't great, getting you into the fifth inning, it shortened the expectation for the bullpen. And even a guy like Grant Cunningham, just when the game may be out of reach one way or the other, just him being able to eat some innings and get some outs is big later in the weekend, where you've got kind of a full slate going into Sunday.
Yeah.
So it is what it is on the pitching side. Offensively, they've been pretty good, man.
Well, can you kind of go deeper on your tweet that I know that the Burnerverse came after you a little bit about offense?
Listen, man. Like, if you're a grown man and you run a burner account, meaning you don't use your real name or a photo of yourself, and you use that to bump your gums, I don't think there's a man in your family. Like, I think that's the most cowardly thing. If you, like, I don't respond to burners ever. Whether they're tweeting positive or negative things, I don't respond. Matter of fact, for me, as soon as I hit send on a tweet, it's mute conversation.
Post and ghost.
Yeah, just mute conversation.
Yeah.
But I did go through because somebody texted me yesterday, like, this is a very innocent tweet, and these people are blowing it up like it's like I'm grandstanding for Coach Earley. All I said was, through 6 SEC games, they are averaging 8.5 runs offensively a game. In both SEC series, they have outscored their opposition in totality, and they've lost both series. So that should tell you that offensively, it's been pretty good. As I said, in 4 of the 6 games, your offense has been good enough to win. It wasn't good enough on Friday night, certainly wasn't good enough on Saturday. In 5 of the 6 SEC games, your defense has been good enough to win. The only outlier being Friday night.
Yep.
So why are you 2-4 and not 4-2? It has to do with what's going on the mound. And it was for different reasons in back-to-back weeks. And in Norman, you walked too many people. This weekend, you got beat up and bloodied by a really good lineup. And it's hard for me to say this is the issue. This was the issue against Georgia. Now, the outcomes look like it's 2-strike, a lot of 2-strike hits, 2-strike homers. What are they doing late in counts?
Yeah.
And that is a massive red flag. And you need to dive into analytically, if you've got it available, which the staff does, you've got to go in and say, what are we doing here with 2 strikes? But on the flip side is you also created more swing and miss this weekend than you did in Norman by a lot. So it was a very weird weekend on the mound for me. And Cedeo's outing was the perfect example of that. He gave up 5 runs and they were loud and he was on the barrel quite a bit, but he struck out 11. Like, how do you process that?
Sure.
And so you've got to dive into, was it a plan from Georgia that they were like maybe one step ahead of you? Like they were sitting on pitches in certain counts and you just didn't clock it until later? Was it a pitch execution issue? Is it a pitch calling issue? Like there's so many things that inside the walls of Bluebell Park that they are going to go over and pour over that we just, I can sit there and say, man, I think it looks this way. But until you really dive in, and Coach Earley was exactly right. When you're in the game, it can feel like your chase rate is way higher than it is. It can feel like their ability with 2 strikes on the opposition to hit 2-strike pitches is way higher than it is. You've got to be able to go back and look, and like that's how you really find problems. In game, it's a lot of gut and like managing pitch to pitch on your gut. And then afterward, you go back and you look at the analytics, and to me, that helps your guts, like your gut instinct going forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the moment, it's hard to like take in all the data and then spit out an outcome. Like, what do your eyes tell you? What do you feel? Go back after the game, go through the numbers and say, okay, like my gut was right here. My gut isn't right here. And that helps you, I think, going forward.
Ronnie, good stuff, man. Thank you. We'll hit a break. Mark French for one last time this season. We'll talk to him on the other side about the Aggie basketball team. Right now, when it comes to your money and your peace of mind, it starts with the right team. That right team is Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary firm serving clients all across Texas. You get no commissions, no sales pitches, just trusted advice tailored to you. They have a team of 18 professionals, 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA, and their expertise runs deep at Paragon because credentials matter, and so does your future. Visit paragon-adv.com or call them up 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today.
It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. All right, we are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to talk to Mark French here on the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline in a moment. Join us right now, or not right now, very soon, for the 4th annual Drive with On-Ramp, a fundraiser at Topgolf in Bryan. That's going to be on March the 28th from 4 to 7. Tickets are $50. It includes a 3-hour of play, dinner, and mini golf, with all the proceeds helping us gift reliable vehicles to more hardworking Brazos Valley families in need. For more information or to buy tickets, visit onramptx.org. That is onramptx.org. All right, we go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Miss Dorsey, give me something.
Well, I'm really excited because A&M football had their spring practice this past weekend, their first one. Mike Elko enters his 3rd year, and so it's a mix of new faces and returning guys starting to figure things out. Bronny has a whole thread on this. He said that it was a lot of special teams work. The main focus was defense, and DJ Hicks stood out as an improved player. So it's a really exciting time to see, the future of Aggie football.
Yeah, Pro Day coming up on Wednesday from 12:45 on. So we'll have our team there breaking it all down. So looking forward to having Pro Day and seeing some of the guys we got at the Combine. This will be our second chance to talk to them after getting them here just a couple weeks back. So looking forward to that. All right, we go back to the Bucky's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Always in a new office, always looking fresh. Mark French, good morning, buddy.
Hey, guys, good morning. Good to be with you, and excited to do a little post-game wrap, even as a disappointing weekend finish, but I'm excited to be on.
So, Mark, it was interesting because I don't think we saw the best of A&M this weekend offensively at all, but we did see the best of them defensively. I thought they were fantastic against St. Mary's. And then they took on a team that, their calling card is defense just as much, right? And Houston the Aggies, even on a good day, I think would have struggled in that game, the way A&M handled their press and also how they were able to disrupt what the Aggies were trying to do.
Yeah, there's no doubt. So, look, I think let's start with St. Mary's if we can. I think that was a grown-up program win, right? So, a lot of times the first-year head coach, we made the tournament. All right, check that off the box. We can use that to go recruit. I think going and getting that St. Mary's win was as encouraging as anything to me all season, because it showed a level of maturity, it showed a level of drive, and to go and beat that type of team with the contrasting style, I felt like we imposed our will a little bit. And then when it came to Houston, look, that team is national title good. They have been the last 2 or 3 years. Kelvin's obviously a legend, have a lot of respect for him, and Kellen and everything they got going on there. Mikey Conham's an assistant there. He used to be at A&M. I'm relatively close with. A lot of respect for them, right? There's tiers to this thing, right? And Houston's in the very top tier, and that's where we're trying to get to. That's the culmination of 10 years of program building and a deep sense of culture. So look, we ran into a buzzsaw there, but thought our defense we played so hard, man. And, just ran into a team that could hit shots. And, the other thing is, David, is sometimes I just look at it in March and I go, well, how many pros do they have? And then how many pros do we have? And I don't mean that condescending to the roster. I'm just objectively, sometimes that's what it comes down to. They got 2 guards that, NBA guys are very excited about. Sharp's been there a while. He's the culture setter, right? Just that whole team up and down. They got length, they got size, they're aggressive. It's like a football team. They're going out just attacking. And so, look, what the takeaway for me from this weekend is that it showed a lot of maturity as a program and a sign of things to come to go get that St. Mary's win. That was really impressive to me.
So we did our rapid reaction on Saturday, and I brought up a story because I have a unique position, Mark, where I was there year one for Kelvin Sampson at Houston. I remember him when he was an assistant with the Rockets, right? And he was James Harden's guy. He was one of the few that could get through to James Harden. And when Houston hired him, I was like, man, Houston got themselves a coach. And, he was still trying to rebuild his image. It took him, I believe, that first year, I think they went like 13-17. I went back and looked. They weren't very good, but you could tell it looked different. It took them 4 years to get to the tournament. Now, they were in Conference USA at the time. It was a harder path, sure. But they were kind of, if you look at some of those early teams, from a physical standpoint, they looked a lot more like what
Bucky's team looked like this year, as opposed to the Goliath men that you saw. Like, that front court was ridiculous. Like, there were some men there, right? So I look at that and I say to myself, you're ahead of schedule. It does make me feel better. I don't mean to say it. Like, look, they kicked your butts. They were better than you in every facet. They were better at everything, right? But I do see a way that could be A&M here in 4, 5, 2 years, right? Like, if you get your dudes, this brand of basketball, I think, has proven they can hang with the big boys.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. And it's like in any sport across college athletics, it's about getting the coaching hire right. Okay. And so I think we have the right guy, and we got to double down on that and give him everything, any and everything that he needs from a recruiting standpoint, from a facility standpoint, etc. This style of play can work. You watch Bama go 25-piece Texas Tech last night. We've seen it over the last couple of years. I've gone over this bit before. Auburn plays that kind of style under Pearl. Bama, Florida was getting up and down a lot last year. This style can work. And it's less about the style for me. It's more about the players. We got to go get NBA level and European pro level players to come play here. And we did this whole season, guys, without a center. I don't know if I hope everyone's been paying attention. We did this with a limited roster that Bucky put together in about a week and a half. And I think going forward, the ability to, have a rim protector, particularly on defense, that's one thing. Those teams that do play fast, whether, I use Auburn and Alabama as the example in recent years, they have that anchor at the rim that helps kind of protect things. So if everything's chaotic out in the full court and on the press, there's someone back there to contest shots. And then also our wings, we got to get bigger and more athletic. I think, I watched that St. John's, Kansas game, and I'm going, man, these wings just maybe don't look like anything we had, right, from a physical standpoint. Same thing with Houston. And so I think at the high level, the guard play got better at the end of the year. I wouldn't say we had an elite NBA type guard, which is where you want to trend towards. I don't think we had elite NBA or can go play in Europe level on the wings. And I think we're going to get there. And, the other takeaway, I think for me, and what I'm most excited about heading into the offseason is to see Bucky's recruiting chops, because I think he's going to be elite of the elite. And it'll show itself pretty early, right? And I think we'll see it this offseason. Certainly getting M'Baku back is huge, but going and getting some high-end pieces. Here's the other thing. Who wouldn't want to come play in the system? Mm-hmm. We can have 5 or 6 guys average double digits. Everyone's happy. No one's, worried about getting theirs. This is a style that from an offensive output perspective, which is what a lot of players look at when they're in the recruiting portal or coming out of high school, Bucky has a system that he can recruit really, really high-end guys and NBA-type talent to come here. And so I think that's going to be something that I'm very, very interested to watch. This year was a resounding success, and it's something that we can use to go recruit off of. But we got to get better, and the goal has got to be to go acquire pro-level talent to come play, 1, 2, 3 years here in Aggieland.
So, Mark, credit to Houston for this, what I'm about to say, but it felt like the A&M offense, especially in games where they struggled, became very one-dimensional, okay?
Yeah.
And part of that is Houston was not fazed at all with the press. They handled it like it was like another day of practice. They were fantastic, right? So sometimes A&M's offense gets going because of the chaos it starts and produces. Sometimes the hot shooting opens up Aggie. Sometimes Aggie's ability in the paint to demand so many looks opens guys up. But it felt like they just couldn't get open looks. So how does this offense take a step? They average 86 points a game. We know they can score. But in the games that they didn't win, and their most important game of the year, they scored their season low.
You gotta go get a bigger engine. So you gotta go get guys that can go create their own shot. You got to go get guys that can hit shots against athletic teams. I think about Florida, Houston, some of these higher-end SEC teams that we played. Alabama, to some extent, is like this. when those longer wings and big men that can guard on the perimeter are contesting your 3-point shot, suddenly the percentages go way down. And what we got to do is we got to go get a bigger engine. We got to go get better players. We got to upgrade in the talent department, and then continue to develop the culture, evolve into the system, etc. But to me, that really is the biggest thing. There's nothing wrong with the system. Super excited about it. We just got to go get the Jimmies and the Joes going. If Rashawn Aggie is your running game in football, the 3-point shooting was your passing game. And I think what happened a lot of times is they just loaded up on our run game, and we didn't have anyone that could, take the top off. I always use Craver as an example, right? We didn't have the deep ball threat, pun intended, from beyond the 3-point line to be able to loosen up the defense and, particularly against Houston, allow AG, space to operate. And so if playing this style, we got to have, guys who can hit volume threes. And so I think that's where this is headed. I think Bucky's all over it. Man, I'm so impressed by that guy, and I couldn't be more proud to have him leading the program.
Last thing for you, Mark, when you look at the season and where we are today, could you, and look, I know that people don't like to hear the reality of the situation sometimes, especially after a loss, and especially one that looked as lopsided as it did. But would you have ever been able to, on April the 4th, when they hired Bucky, to say that this is what your year one looked like, very similar to what the last year of Buzz? And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm just saying, like, you didn't miss a beat on a year that you didn't even have a player a year ago.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I couldn't imagine that. I thought, hey, let's try to get to 20 wins, maybe. Let's, be a bubble team. And I think we were firmly in, right? We were halfway through conference play. We were first or second in the league. And so also just think Bucky's cool. Like, he's developed this aura around, like, oh yeah, like, he's very likable, and in the media, all these guys, he's getting a lot of love on Twitter, right? He's just from a media standpoint, he's a very likable guy, right? And I think that's been very important. The other thing, if you zoom out, this is the 5th straight 20-win season as a program. We're becoming a high-floor basketball program, which is exciting. We're continuing to be in the NCAA tournament every year, and we're building that brand of being a team to watch. And I think as Bucky's system and gets more in place, and we go get some of these high-end guys, it's going to be really fun. And we need to support him, right? And whether that's stadium upgrades, right? I want the black leather seats, guys. I'll help do the fundraise. Y'all come holler at me. Doing red brick around the arena, or getting a video board on that tan wall on that south side. There's a lot of things we can do to support him. The biggest thing is that we embrace what's going on here and go get some guys. So couldn't be more pleased. He's got an unbelievable staff, tons of respect for those guys. And I think this is the time. Right now is the time to make that year 1 to year 2 leap, right? We saw Elko do it.
Right.
And now it's time to go see Bucky do it. Let's try to get back to Sweet 16 and beyond. So it's been a wonderful year, and I couldn't be more excited about the state of the program.
Mark, great stuff, buddy. Thanks so much for your time.
All right, guys. Y'all have a great day.
We'll talk to you soon, man. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back, short little segment on the other side, find out what's on TexAgs today. In Texas, your HVAC system isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. And when you need service, it matters who you call, and that's the Daily Company. That's who you should be calling, locally owned and operated company. They take real pride in serving the community, with their HVAC department providing a comprehensive service that includes repairs, maintenance, and full system installation. So whether your AC stops working in the middle of the summer or your heater needs more attention before a cold snap, their licensed technicians are going to take amazing care of you and make sure that you're taken care of. They offer emergency HVAC repair because they know breakdowns never happen at a convenient time. They want to make sure they take care of you. Their team works with all the major brands, you name it, from Lennox to Trane to Goodman to Rheem to Honeywell to Daikin to Amana. I think that's how you say it. They'll take care of it no matter how you pronounce it. It is the Daily Company, 979-260-2020, 979-260-2020. Stay comfortable year-round with a local team that you can trust. It is the Daily Company. And we're back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Just got word that Bobby Shuttleworth, A&M soccer coach, will be here in studio tomorrow. He's going to bring his assistant, Mark, with him. So we'll chit-chat about the Aggie soccer spring season as they just had Dallas Baptist in, I believe, on Saturday. They got a 2-0 win. And I believe they go on the road this upcoming weekend. So we'll chit-chat with Bobby tomorrow at 10:35. Let's find out what's happening on TexAgs today.
On TexAgs today, we have a lot of football talk. We have a lot of recruiting insight from Jason Howell, Tamir Brown making a visit today, then Kamari Dorsey making plans to return to Aggieland, spring football snippets, the sights and sounds bit, and then Luke Evangelist's 5 thoughts from NCAA tournament games and a look at A&M's limitations. That led to the round of 32 elimination. We have a baseball series recap and a softball sweep recap against Kentucky. And then later today, we have a Landon Reek interview, Jason Howe recruiting interviews, and Bronny's baseball thoughts presented by Bach Realty.
Great stuff, Haley. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, basketball, baseball, football, basketball. I'm going to try to get that all in an hour. Hopefully in an hour. You never know. Could go longer. Won't go shorter. May start late. It's going to be good, though. Next on TexAgs. The song was probably played at every wedding ever. I know Nick wakes up to it. It's TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I think we'll have Billy Liucci here in a moment. Can I play Captain Obvious for everybody for a moment? Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. The blueprint of what Bucky, I've already kind of said this, but I kind of want to double down on it. The blueprint for what Bucky Ball is going to look like was on the other bench. You can go back to shows that we did when Bucky was hired, and I actually referenced the way Houston built their team. A&M, I know, lost by 31, and you look at it, and you like it was not fun to watch. And I got a lot of text messages during the game. I get that. But what happened Saturday to me was kind of like a seminar of what the future could look like. I don't know if A&M's ever going to play in a national championship game. I don't know if they're going to be a Final Four team. Bucky will tell you they will be. But if you watch the tape, the Houston tape, and you see how they go about their business, the way they attack, Emmanuel Sharp coming off screens, the physicality of their team, that style of basketball, there's a lot of what they do in a different way, but like it's a similar kind of relentless pursuit. Different building, different roster, and different looking roster too, physically, right? But what we have is a coach that a year ago had to like scramble for pieces and put this together. And the rotations, the mechanics of it all it definitely looks different than the Buzz product. And by the way, I hate when I say that because it sounds like I'm dissing. Some of the most fun I've had at this job was covering Buzz's teams. They were fun to watch. But the way that A&M wants to go about their business is to impose discomfort on every single possession. It is a weapon, the way they go about their business. And they feel, and I think both programs feel this, when games are close, their style will, that ability to impose your will on a team will break another team down. It broke St. Mary's down. It broke A&M down. Let's be honest. This was a 25-24 game. You knew that Houston, you had to have gotten, A&M had to have gone on an 18-0 run to feel comfortable in that game. You needed to be hitting your shots. That did not happen. But the difference in the programs is not philosophy. They're both about culture. They're both about outworking you, right? It's just about the DNA, the actual players on the roster. When Kelvin Sampson got to Houston, I've said this a few times in the last week, he inherited a program that had not been relevant in years. I believe, I could be wrong here, you can fact check me here. Houston went like 13 years without making the NCAA tournament before he got there. Fact check me on that. I think it's like 13, 14 years. Might have been longer, might have been a little bit shorter, but it's around there, right? And I'm using Houston as the example because they're the team that just beat A&M. And I think they do a great job. But their first tournament appearance came in 2018, 4 years after Kelvin was hired. And it felt like that program was ascending. Do you have those numbers yet?
I think it was 13.
2013 he took over?
Yeah.
And then the last time they made the NCAA tournament?
April 2014. And then the last time they made the tournament was 2017, 2018.
No. Before he got hired.
Oh, before he got hired.
Yeah, before he got hired. The first time they made it, was the 2017, 2018 season. All right, so it took him 4 years. And you can't compare both situations, right? Conference USA, there was an NI. I'm not saying that just because this team did this team's going to do that. I'm just kind of giving you context for if you want to take a step back from the loss and look at where this program could be heading. So first tournament appearance 4 years in, and Final Four 7 years in. They made the Final Four my last year at Channel 13 in 2021. And the national championship game just last year. We'll see where they go this year. So from nothing.
2010, they made it.
They made it 2010?
Yeah.
Okay, so they made it once from there
it says twice in the 22 seasons prior his arrival.
Twice in the 22 seasons prior to his arrival. Mm-hmm. There you go. So it looks like 2010 and probably 2007, and then he got it again in 2018. So it took 8 years to make the tournament from 2010 from the last time they made it to the first time Kelvin did it. They did it twice in 22 years. A&M has now made the tournament 4 straight years, right? Am I right about that? Yeah, 22, 23, 24. Right. Yeah. Regardless, you understand where I'm going with this. A&M is on the right trajectory based on that. And this is year 1. So, taking away the noise of how that game felt, especially during the 18-0 run, the ceiling of I think this team exceeded their ceiling. Right, we talk about like Marcel's ceiling. I believe this roster exceeded their ceiling.
I liked Mark's comment about comparing him to like Mike Elko under his first year, and then his second year, like he exceeded our expectations.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see how Bucky can, kind of do that for his own team.
Now, when you do projections, you never do them with injuries, right? And the projections were with Mbako, maybe they could get to the tournament, but it was more like wishful thinking than like. And then when you lose Mbako, and I get that's part of the story, guys. You lose your best offensive player. How many times did Aggie football under Jimbo lose their quarterback? Every freaking year, but the Kellerman years, right? Like every year, somebody gets hurt. So when you lose your NBA-bound best player, your prize recruit from the transfer portal, right? What do you expect? Like you don't expect greatness. Did the offense look different when Le'Veon Moss went down for this program? Absolutely, it did. So do we have Billy, by the way? Okay. So the bottom line, we've seen the blueprint. We see what this team can do in a limited amount of time, this program. Now let's see what the future looks like. We'll hit a break. We'll have Billy Liucci on the other side. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, and you can check out their website, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. There's car buying, and then there's car buying at Caldwell Country Chevrolet, and I think you're going to really enjoy that version of it because great customer service, great pricing, great people. Bam. That's the spot because that's what they do. When you go there, you're going to be blown away by the customer service and also the pricing, and you're just going to like the entire process. I don't like to be sold to. I don't like if you come up to me at the mall, I don't know if people still go to the mall. If you try to sell, if you come up to my door, it's a no. Hey, greatest thing in the world. Don't knock on my door. I don't want it. I know you got to make a living. I don't want it. I don't want to be sold to. Caldwell Country Chevrolet doesn't sell to you. They find out your needs, and you'll go to them, and they will get you what you need. Great pricing, great people. It's the way they do it. It's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. We're back. It is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is hour number 3 of the program. Billy Liucci walked in studio for 5 seconds, made a very rude, derogatory comment that I will respond to when he's on air. And we're going to play a game of facts. Okay? We're going to play a game of facts on this show. And then we're going to find out if what he said is fair. Okay? It's called facts. F-A-C-T-S. Yes, it took me a moment to remember how to spell that. In the meantime, I am sure somebody on TexAgs.com, on the premium chat, or somebody on YouTube has said something of substance. People have not texted today because they're sad. They're upset about baseball. Baseball won Sunday, by the way. I know they didn't win the series. I get it. People are sad basketball ended. People got mad that I did football in the first hour. How dare you do football? Because football pays the bills. Anyway, let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center now that I'm worked up. And I see Billy just over there holding court like he doesn't care. There's a show going on that he is the main star of, and like Elvis Presley just shows up when he wants to. Anyway, Dorsey, I'm not upset.
David and Temple said, as a loyal Aggie, I certainly appreciate that we made the madness the past 3 years, but I don't believe you can count any of that in forward trajectory. One player remained. This is more new Army than old Army right now. The forward trajectory is all Bucky and staff, and they are going to need to replace at least 4 to 5 of players that played a lot this year. I'm on board for the ride.
I am as well. I don't know what Mike Wheezy means. He said Mark was very respectable. I think he's talking about Mark French, but he was no Allen Iverson. Did I miss one part where he compared himself to Allen Iverson? I didn't hear that.
Oh, I can't stand Mark French. He's always trying to act like he's Allen Iverson. That guy, he walks around like calls himself the answer. It's ridiculous. I've always thought he was just out of control. I'm surprised we put him on. Like,
never heard him say that in my life.
I think he regularly tells people he's better than AC Law, Donald Sloan combined.
I saw AC Law at the game. He was talking to you.
When Wade Taylor was playing, he was like, they should hang my banner, my jersey in the rafters. I'm the best. That's what Mark French, he's definitely that kind of guy.
Never gotten that vibe ever.
It's so ridiculous. Like, why would
the
guy can't talk about
I think he was kidding on the YouTube page.
He was?
Yeah, I think he was kidding. I think. Hey, so I got a question for you.
I know he didn't really think he thought he was.
You verbally assaulted me when you walked into the studio.
All right.
You said that I'm a terrible driver. And I want to play a game with you. Okay? It's an easy game. You'll love this game.
Well, I don't want to play the most speeding.
Oh, we can play that or accidents. Hold on, let me tell you my game.
I haven't been.
I haven't had a ticket.
I don't want to say it. I don't even want to say it. See that you're playing a dangerous game here. I don't like it. But
well,
yeah,
I'm going to knock on wood.
No.
Last time I got into a ticket, I got a ticket.
Well, you know what? Maybe you should mix in an accident once in a while. Fender bender.
No.
It'll give you some little texture.
It gives you some calluses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Zero
a fender bender. Not even.
And by the way, I'm knocking on wood because I know it can happen at any moment. I'm not playing the karma game. I'm just saying zero.
You got good hair going today.
Thank you for the compliment sandwich, or the critique sandwich. Zero accidents. Zero tickets.
Yeah, I'd just like to see you spill something in the house.
I've done that.
Okay.
I think was there a little spill?
You probably
somewhere?
have a little hidden room where you give yourself like 14 lashes if you spill the milk.
I don't drink milk.
And they're like, it's okay, Dad. No, it's not. But it'll be fine. And then what's that movie with Tom Hanks? The religious movie where he's in Rome at the Vatican trying to solve a crime.
Yeah.
And that guy that he's like an albino and he lashes himself. He's like a friar.
Yeah, I don't hit my kids.
No, you hit yourself.
Oh, I don't hit myself either. No, I don't believe in pain. But anyway, zero accidents, zero tickets.
The Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code. And they made a part 2.
The Nuño Code.
Yeah, the Nuño Code. Live life the right way.
So I'll say this. You drove us and we weren't. If it wouldn't have been like you and Callie, so I'll take everyone through this real quickly. We decided to leave. I brought it up. I shouldn't have. I was going to spend the night in Dallas, eat brunch in Dallas, drive back here in time for practice. I shouldn't have brought it up. I brought it up to Nuño. He jumped all over it. He wanted to be a good dad, get back for his daughter's birthday. And then he sure as hell didn't drive like it because
I went 75.
No. Yeah. At one point I looked up, he was going 62 in a 75, or maybe a 65.
There was an 18-wheeler in front of us.
Way under the speed limit on a 5-hour trip. You can't do that.
You got to have 2 seconds between cars.
And as soon as we pull out of the arena, he takes a wrong turn on the highway.
I did.
And we had to come back, and I was almost like, just go back to the hotel. But they took so much time packing. Said, let's continue with the next 5 hours. Tell me if I'm lying about any of this. We get to a gas station. He gets out.
Oh, this part's true.
He gets out to pump the gas.
Yeah.
He offers to pay. I said, no, I got it, Dave. And so I give you my card. We go. I go inside, get waters, whatever.
So far.
Come back out. Callie gets in the car to drive. We start it up, and Nuño's in the back already half asleep.
Yeah,
and she goes, there still says empty.
Yeah. And
we're in the middle of nowhere. So well, how does it still say empty? That's never happened before. And I look, and it says $30 in gas, whatever.
Yeah, so far it's very true.
So Nuño filled it up with gas and said, well, I just went till it stopped. He was not paying any attention. It never started. So we were just going to drive off.
The part he didn't tell
gas.
was probably his credit card was declined. That's the part you didn't say.
It was not.
Maybe I didn't press start. Maybe.
That would be what happened.
I was very tired. How quickly was I asleep afterwards? It was very fast.
Pretty quick. My point is, it wasn't your finest.
I started driving after 9:30. That's bedtime, buddy.
It wasn't your finest.
Okay, I apologize for that. Shall we touch some basketball for a moment?
Yes, because that's where we were coming from.
Yeah.
There's your tie-in.
Yeah, thank you very much. With a little bit of distance from the game, I knew how I was going to feel about the season when they beat St. Mary's. To me, that was the game. Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't have been successful if you didn't beat St. Mary's. Yeah. But once they
could have gotten a lot more successful. But
absolutely. And then
and also probably wasn't going to because of the draw.
Well, the draw, and I just watched that team, man. They're just better. Like that's
that's what I mean by the draw. The team you play.
Yeah, I was agreeing with you. I was just following it up with they're just better.
Yeah,
they're just bottom line. But with a little distance, I'm like, dude, I was proud of them on Saturday night, even though I don't like losing by 31. Nobody does. But if you just look at some of the chapters in this book of this story, right, of putting a roster together late, being predicted to finish 13th with Mbako, losing Mbako, and thinking this team may, I think somebody on our staff, might have been Luke, said we might win 4 or 5 games in SEC. To finish 4th in the SEC, at one point be 1st in the SEC. It was a fun season that we did not expect.
Yeah. I mean, look, the goal is to win a conference championship. I think for A&M basketball, the goal is to get to the second weekend for right now. And the goal is, the ultimate goal is a Final Four / national title. SEC titles, Final Four / national titles. Those are the goals. Those are unrealistic goals in year one of a new head coach. I think the realistic goal was making the tournament, and that even seemed far-fetched. I personally thought the realistic high-end goal would have been getting to, like, being in the real bubble conversation and either make it in or make not. And that, to me, was like a realistic goal in year one, throwing so many. And I know everybody plays in the portal. This was not that. This was a 80% depleted, diluted portal. This was getting there much later than a lot of new head coaches do, and this was inheriting one player. Everyone else that could have been was out the door. Buzz had built up to it last year. Even if he stayed, he would have kept there would have been 4 or 5 players on his roster, period. Right? You had Solo and Pharrell, and then a couple of those young guys, and so he was going to have to do it himself. And that's why I think a lot of us kind of were eyeing jobs, going, where will Buzz be coaching next year? Because there's a high chance with the contract and the complaining. It was like quiet complaining, but it resonated very loudly. There was no roster to be left. And that was, I wouldn't say that was by design, but that was certainly something that I don't think he fought against very much, just kind of knowing he was going to be moving on. So Bucky inherited nothing, 0, zip. And it's not your normal portal turnover. It's not normal by the numbers. Like take, for example, and this is, you can't say this to a Longhorn right now because it comes off like, good for you. You got into the second weekend, Sweet 16 in year one of a head coach. He's also a head coach that was in the tournament a year ago at a place like Xavier. He's also a head coach that's been to several Sweet 16s. He's a head coach that came in with, had Bucky McMillan just had Swain come in with him, where's his team right now to go along with everything else he's got? And you put Swain on this team, but he got the big man from, and inherited a couple of real, not a couple, like a handful of what I think are really good players
Tremont
at
Mark.
Texas. Starting with Tremont Mark and Pope was there, correct? And then what's his name? The guy that I think plays like an absolute dog, just a hustler every game. Weaver, Kendall Weaver. Like, compare that to nothing. Compare that to no rotation players, zero compared to that. So that would, and I'm not even saying that Miller walked into a gold mine, but that's normal what he walked into. And he portaled the big man, and he brought, but this was like here, start from scratch, be way behind, have no NIL money. When the day he got here, they weren't promising Bucky. They were promising Chris Beard a ton of NIL money because that's what it was going to take for him to leave Ole Miss. That worked out very well for A&M, in my opinion. Just that not getting him and getting Bucky. This is the perfect fit. I think it's the perfect work ethic, the perfect mindset, the perfect type of dude he is. Like spending about 15 minutes with the media, 20 minutes with the media after the presser, after they lost by a big margin, after their season was over. You know how many coaches would have just said, okay, sorry guys, y'all drove all the way up here, flew all the way up here. NCAA said we only have 2 questions. Let's get on the bus, get the hell out of here. 90%, 99% of coaches would have done that. Just those little things, and I think that matters. It doesn't matter in wins and losses on the surface, but it matters like how you're perceived.
Yeah.
So how you're perceived by media and doing something like that, that also happens within your building every day. So imagine what the players feel about him, because those type actions, that type personality, that type character comes off day after day after day. It was a great season for season 1. I don't think his goal ever again will be just getting into the tournament. And I know they wanted to win when they got there. But I'll also say the draw freaking matters.
Yeah.
Like, I'll give you an example. Gonzaga was a 3 seed. Houston was a 2 seed. You see the difference? Houston right now would beat Gonzaga by 20 plus. Easily, like zero doubt about it. That basketball team, to me, and I think they'll have their hands full with Illinois, but I see them going to the Final Four, and I honestly see them playing for a national title. I think they're going to play for it. I don't know if they're going to win. It might be round 3 against Arizona, right?
Yeah.
But I think they're going to play for it. I think they're that good. And look, there are other teams you could have played. You know, we didn't want to see the 8-9 game, right? But here's Florida. The only chance I thought A&M had in that game was the Iowa beating Florida thing, which is just nobody ever expected it. The game didn't go any way like you expected it. No one would have ever thought Iowa could outscore Florida in the paint. All of those things added up, and then they had essentially a buzzer beater to win it. That was outside of this is March. There was no reason for A&M on paper to win that game. They ran into a program with Kelvin Sampson that's been how many years in the making now? 8.
2014 year was his first year.
So 8 years of elite basketball, 12 years of program building.
Took them 4 years to get to the tournament.
They are. Houston is right now like you take their success over. Who's had more success in the last 5 years than them?
Just the teams that won national championships. That's it.
Yeah. You give the teams that have won them. But even then,
Who would you rather be, Auburn or Houston?
Why Auburn?
I mean, they went to a Final Four last year. I'm just saying, like.
Oh no, I'm talking about the actual blue bloods.
Okay, Houston or Kentucky? Houston, right? Houston or Kansas? Houston.
Houston's been a better program than Florida. Florida beat them and won the national title. So if you're like ranking success, yeah, you put
Florida ahead,
the national champs. But like, but Houston's been a better program over the last 5, 6, 8 years than Florida has.
Yep.
Same thing with Kentucky. I put him up there with really anybody. Michigan State. Like, he's had more success. And, I mean, so my point is, it's not only that you ran into a program that's on that level, you ran into a team right now that's on that level. Those NCAA, NBA guards, those bigs, the shot blockers, the physicality, that's been built. Now it starts for Bucky. Now starts the building process.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to have Bucky on the other side. He should be coming into studio, so we'll chit-chat with him. We'll take a break. Right now, we're talking about Guaranteed Bank and Trust. They've been around since 1913, so over a century of experience of being your local community bank. They're here in College Station, 3 locations, but they are a local bank. They have a local vibes, and they are Texas through and through. Their market president is Braden Sears. He went to Texas A&M, so when you go there, go chit-chat with him or any of their great representatives. You'll love what they do. They make local decisions with people that you know and that you trust, and they want to make sure that they take care of you in home ownership, local business, nonprofit efforts, and of course, they have support for financial education. And with A&M across the street, that's the way you want to go. Exceptional relationship-focused banking. They are your Aggieland community bank. They'll take amazing care of you. The website is gnty.com. That is gnty.com. It is Guaranteed Bank and Trust, a division of Glacier Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. This is just mine. What's wrong? We're on the air.
He probably made it himself.
Me?
Yeah.
Logan Lee made it for me.
Oh, that's even worse.
What? Successful business owner, basketball player.
Would they start a 14th business to put poorly monogrammed logos on Under Armour quarter zip?
When I got to TexAgs,
we've got a great idea. This one's up there with us selling the life-saving water. You weren't here during that one.
We had life-saving water?
We had an actual crew of the buffoons here. Were caught up in a pyramid scheme. Like literally, like they were horning, just trying to shill water. Gabe, Logan, Brauninger, of course,
Brauninger.
And to this day, he won't admit that I was right for just making fun of it. No, it was great. I lost 14 pounds. Felt great. I woke up energized every day. It had probiotics, and all kinds of nutrients, electrolytes. You need electrolytes. They're going to give it to all the kids. For every bottle they sell, they give 2 to kids in Africa. That's going to save the world. I had to hear that every day. There were just bottles of water, like pallets of water coming here.
Beat the hell out of mornings by going to texags.com/coffee. Oh, sorry, what? No, it was a joke because we sold coffee.
Yeah, that's our coffee. Nuño.
Why would you make fun of TexAgs?
Because because we're shilling this and we're shilling that.
No. That had nothing to do with TexAgs.
I don't like that you're taking a shot at TexAgs.
I know. Way to go.
I'm taking a shot at you.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You literally just said don't buy TexAgs coffee.
No, I didn't say don't buy. I said buy TexAgs. Luke, I think you need to sit this out.
I think Luke's
all right.
No, Luke, you're okay. You're with me. You're good.
Oh, apparently. Should I go sit back here?
Don't mind the poorly monogrammed Under Armour Logan Lee special.
As a reminder, this is a great quarter zip.
It's one of the worst.
You know what you do?
I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Oh, you don't.
No.
You
continue.
All you do is tear people down.
You don't want Bucky to
and
hear
then
this.
you're like, oh wait, I got to give one compliment, so it erases everything wrong.
The
I
last
said.
thing we want is
I don't think you can be
family
involved.
fighting as Bucky walks in here.
Yeah, dude.
We're having him in studio. We got to be on our best behavior.
Calm down, man. It's morning.
I'm like Marcus Hill. I'm intense with a smile.
That's actually a really good comp. It's really good.
Thank you.
I think I hear him.
Well, you know what I did this weekend? I set up Chris Webber and Aggie to meet after the game.
Did you really?
So I think Bucky, perfect timing.
They've been just making fun of me for the last few minutes. Hey, Bucky, how are you, sir?
We good? We're not on right now, are we?
No, we're on.
We're live.
We're live.
Even better.
Yeah.
What's up?
Thanks for coming in.
I like it. Just right on in here. Oh, here we go.
What's up?
Oh, good?
Yeah.
We're good. We're just having some fun.
They're making fun of my quarter zip, among other things.
I like it, man.
I think it's a quality look.
Lucci's got his own look.
Yeah. I always wear something over a t-shirt with a hat.
Always looks like he just woke up.
Right.
Bucky, be careful. You can't make fun. I'm going to get sensitive over here. We can't.
Billy doesn't like when you respond to his jabs back.
Who catches the most hell on y'all's staff?
Whoever Keller's talking to.
Okay.
He gives hell to everybody. We had this dude on our staff when we got here, okay? And it's great, okay? Got him Lance, but he got him Sean, but he called him Lance forever. Now his nickname's Lance because he had his name wrong. And we got here last year, this time, and so all the GAs are kind of hanging around, trying to be around because, trying to stay on. And, we were just real late nighters. We were getting there like 7:30 in the morning. We weren't leaving until, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. These poor GAs, but, Buzz was like an early guy, kind of left early.
Yeah.
So he'd get there like 6:30 a.m. They wouldn't want to leave till after we left, to make a good impression.
Yeah.
But this went on for like 2 weeks, right? And so they'd be like 6 a.m. We wouldn't leave till like 3 a.m. And so one day, Lance, right, Sean's his real name, was leaving, and this is about, 2 o'clock. And he goes, "You leaving before Coach leaves?" He's like, "You think I should stay?" He goes, "Yeah." The poor guy said, "I didn't even know this was going on." So I said, "Dude, y'all get the heck out of here." So I didn't know what's going on. That's Kyle Keller. So whoever he can give hell to, he's going to do it.
I did, by the way, ask someone, may or may not have been on the other side of the court, of the bench last week. I did ask them. Said, I need to hear your Darby Rich impression.
Oh, my goodness. Grayson Walters?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No. Kellen Sampson.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah,
he's
you
good.
told me. So I need to hear that
Yeah.
still. He said, okay, yeah, I've spent a lot of time around Darby.
Yeah, Kellen. So you got to hear it?
No, not yet.
Oh, you hadn't heard it. Oh, it's big time. It's big time. Grayson Walters can do it too, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a good Keller story. I'll make it quick because it's not about this. But like the second practice I went to, your brother was there. And there was a GA or like a student assistant who didn't know what Bucky's brother looked like. And so Keller had the kid go up and be like, who do you know here? Like, are you supposed to be at practice? And he was like, dude, I'm Bucky's brother.
Now, he did that to my dad one time. And the GA came back and he said, no, that's Bucky's dad. He goes, that's not Bucky's dad. So he went back to my dad and asked for ID. That Keller does, man.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
Look, if you take away the competitive part of you, okay, and I know that's impossible, but just for a moment, did this team exceed your expectations?
Well, I wouldn't have been happy this year if, I said I'd been very content this year if we got to the Sweet 16 because you always want to be in that second weekend. But I do think that this team accomplished a great deal. And I think that, I never want to say we exceeded expectations because that's a discredit to the players a little bit, And but what I can say is when you step away from all this and you look at it, what an accomplishment by that group of guys.
Yeah.
I mean, go look at the teams that had just total turnover in college basketball, and not just total turnover, but total turnover, where it was very late, so the pieces couldn't necessarily go together, exactly. In terms of like, okay, we're going to get a forward here. So now when you recruit a guard, they know who they're playing with. This is one of the, just stepping back from it, this is one of the more miraculous stories in college basketball that group was such a functioning unit and cared so much for each other and cared so much about Texas A&M. It's really miraculous. And, we got a tough draw in the second round versus a really good team that played in the Natty last year and can win it again. But incredible season by these guys. I always want to be in the second weekend. And why do you say just the second weekend? Because now you're just 2 games away from the Final Four. But, there's some teams that, you saw play yesterday. I mean, you look at it. I mean, Florida was a very good team and, got the round of 32. That's kind of what it is. But this group will be remembered as a team that really, against all odds, kept this program going so that the next group of guys can come in and take that next step.
I wanted to ask you that. It's so interesting. When you were putting the pieces together, you're sitting down with these kids, their families. Maybe not. It was so fast and furious, right? Were you putting it together thinking, man, this is a great group that's going to really mesh? And I just think the part about them, the way they represented A&M, the way they kind of fell in love with the place fell in love with them. I just feel like there couldn't have been much planning that went into that, save the fact that you were sitting there going, we're recruiting good, high-character guys. And then we'll see how it all comes together.
Yeah, we said, all right, let's look at the best players that we can get, Let's look at that first. Don't even care so much about height, size, anything. Let's just take the best players. And if we got to play 5 point guards, we're going to do it. If we got to play 5 centers, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, hey, we're going to take players that probably can't play at this level, but at least they're the right size.
Mm-hmm.
And, in time, you want to have the talent with positional length and all of that. Where we were great was we brought these guys in. We passed on some, but we brought these guys in, and if we felt right that they were, made of the right stuff, we took them in. But what I'm telling you is we were really lucky, not that we didn't know, because you do know when you get them in front of you and all the homework you do, that those guys, when we brought them in, usually you go through that maybe, 5 out of 10, 3 out of 10 are made of the right stuff, but say 7 of the 10 that we would bring in were made of the right stuff.
Yeah.
You really wanted to win in their last year. That stuff mattered. And so we were fortunate in the short time frame. The ones that we brought in really cared, had great hearts. They were great people. Mm-hmm. And some of these guys I'd known a while. I recruited Ali Deba.
Yeah.
When I was at Sanford. I knew Marcus Hill from Southern Union Junior College in Alabama. Right? So I knew some of these guys. I knew Rylan Griffin a little bit because he was at Alabama.
Yeah.
But then I just remember like Rashawn Agee, I brought him in on his recruiting visit. I could have sat and talked to him all night.
Yeah.
You know? So very fortunate to have those kind of people here this year.
Yeah, you mentioned Rashawn. It's pretty rare, like in this era, to have somebody here for 1 year, and it feels like they were here for so much longer. And I know there's no way you can possibly get him back for another year, but what does he mean to this program for the leadership that he brought? Because I remember going to practice before he got there, and it's not that practice was quiet, but it's like when he got there, I almost forgot what practices were like before he was there because he was just so vocal. How do you go about finding a replacement for that? And just what did he mean in the 9 months to you that he was in your program?
Yeah, I think that when you bring the biggest thing when you don't have many or any returners is there is no leadership yet from the players from within. Usually that is done by the returners. Usually when players come in, they are going to follow the leader, and the leader is a person who's there from before because they know what the standards are of the program. There was none of that. Yeah. And so it took someone in their first year to naturally be that guy. And if you're around Rashawn for half a second, you know that he's not afraid to talk. He's just a delight to be around. He's comfortable in his own skin. I think the leaders from this point on will be those that are returners because they know what the values and the standards are and what we're trying to accomplish. And so, that's where you get the word culture, which is, people say it's overused, but, to have a true culture in a program, what that is that's just the values passed on from one team to the next. Right? That's what it is. It's like when I coached high school basketball for 12 years of high school, in my last year, I could still see a personality trait of somebody in my first year because I was passed on from team to team. And then all the positive personalities get kind of passed on down. We'll look at when we get to the Final Four and we have that voice and that guy just playing so over his head, rebounding the ball. We'll look back and we'll feel Rashawn Agee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That could be years from now. Sean could be playing overseas. Rashawn may be an assistant coach with us. You never know how it'll work out. But you'll feel that personality type and you'll feel that, man, that's Rashawn. That was his imprint. And that's when it's pretty unique. And that's where you can feel that to the team that got us in Houston. Very talented team. Those guys have been there a while. But, some of those guys, some of the plays they made, the effort plays that they got, that wasn't just because those guys showed up this year. That was a culture through the years. And I'm sure some of those guys that made those rebound and effort plays, they can probably point back to some of the first guys that started it and that carried on to the next team, to the next team, to the next team.
Speaking of them and you guys, I'm talking about U of H here. We watched A&M play the Cougars 2 years ago in the tournament. So if you're paying attention, what you got to see are guys that were third, fourth, fifth option, not really an option, whatever. And then 2 years later, you see them as their best players, or you see them as guys that you didn't. Oh, were they on the team too? Yeah, they were. Well, now they're really good. That's that development within a program that you guys, and any first-year coach really doesn't have, but most do on some level. They don't walk into one. They don't walk into one player. With that said, there's going to be high turnover again this year just from the guys that, like he said, we'd love to get them all back, can't. How fired up are you now after the momentum to go from this season and with the full portal window? How fired up are you guys? I know you're already after it, but to go in there and kind of, for lack of a better phrase, shop the open market this year.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be way ahead of it, knowing what we need, and then just getting to go through the league this year and seeing who we're going to bring back and what pieces we got to fill. We got to get a little bit more positional length, that's for sure. If you had asked me, did we make the right decision to take the best players out? Absolutely. Yeah, we could have been tall in last place, and you don't get an award. We're not trying to get on the ride at Six Flags here, right?
Tallest SEC team.
Yeah, that doesn't do much for you. So, I think all of that will help significantly, and just having the time to get to plug around pieces. That's what you want. You want to use the portal. Your biggest investment in terms of where your priority is your returners and saying, all right, who do we have back? And then you fill around that and you plug the holes, right? Also, we've signed 2 really good high school players as well. One's been practicing with us. So there is no doubt. I think that we will start the season better for sure coming into next year. And I think really what happens is late in the season, two things are going to happen. You're going to see this. Talent is going to rise late in the season. That's the inevitable nature of it. Guard play is going to be at a premium. You know, you look at Houston, they got 3 guards that can potentially play in the NBA. One will be a lottery pick. Guards are going to rise late in the season. And then when you can have that guard play and you can get some positional length so that you don't have to pitch a perfect game on defense, then you got a real chance to just not have to be hot. If that makes sense to you.
Makes perfect.
And I mean, because you can see, like, some of our guys were really in a lot of these games, Florida, Houston, could be battling for rebounds, can be blocking out. But, you know,
they just kind of
tipping on out, right? And that's where, you know, that can make you more consistent at tournament time. And having a full portal season to kind of get some of those and have time to evaluate that with a full portal it's going to be really beneficial.
Can you stick around for a couple more minutes?
Yeah, for sure.
We'll hit a break. We had to come back. We'll do a couple more minutes, and we'll keep it on TexAgs.com. As a reminder, this is the final segment of the program coming up. Caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We'll hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. Back here on TexAgs Live, we're going to continue on YouTube and on TexAgs.com because I know the zone show's about to end. Bucky, I want to ask you what this offense can look like. You average almost 90 points a game this year, so we know it's a really good offense. But with some of the stuff you're talking about in the future, adding some length, some size, what do you think that? I mean, how different could this offense look?
Well, it will be able to assault the rim more, and I think that's really important. Like, sometimes you really want to be kind of a downhill team. We were too side to side, in my opinion, this year, just because, when you have more finishing and more slashing and more size, you can assault the rim, which in turn opens up threes, And I think that's the biggest deal. Like, surprisingly, even though we scored a lot of points, our defense ranked the third best in the SEC, which that is amazing.
Yeah.
Like, just telling you, that never happens without a lot of length and a ton of athleticism. So in SEC play, that's what it was. Offensively, if there's things we're missing, was that length and just a little bit of attacking at the rim, because you really want to get free throws first, layup seconds, threes third, then you'll take middies kind of in the last 10. And I felt sometimes this year we were very switchable, and we weren't able to take advantage of it, besides with Rashawn down low. And so that's what we got to get to, and we will. We'll find we'll get that.
Was there first run? You're so familiar with the SEC because of where you grew up, where you were coaching at, where you've always coached at. Was there anything about going through the 18-game schedule of the league? Because I always talk about it in football, the SEC grind. I was saying the other day that the front courts in the SEC remind me of the line of scrimmage in football. I mean, they're so big, they're so strong. Was there anything going through that 18-game schedule one time now that you learned that you kind of was an eye opener, or were you just so familiar with it?
It's a great question. And the thing that I learned, we're on air.
Yeah.
You can edit out whatever you want to. But, you've heard the Nick Saban saying, "Mass kicks ass."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the reason: when you go through 18 games, okay, a Florida who's very massive. All right, their recovery based on physicality, they're able to get to the next game easier. When you're really undersized, you have to fight so hard every single game, that at some point you hit a wall. That a team that is more physically dominant, they don't necessarily hit that wall. And you could tell how much fresher we were versus St. Mary's than we were, a week before, after going to double overtime with LSU, fighting Kentucky to get in the tournament. So I think that the bigger, stronger you can be is such an advantage getting through SEC play, and it affects practice a little bit as well, because we're having to recover for 2 days almost, whereas, the more you can endure physically, the more you can keep practicing.
Yeah.
And the next thing is this: once you know that we got a team that we're in the tournament, it's just a matter, are we a 2 seed, a 1 seed, a 3 seed, a 4 seed? Well, you're not sitting there like, well, we better rest up because we have to win this game to be in the tournament.
Yeah.
Really, your March Madness is starting in February.
Yeah.
And that changes how you can do a lot of things.
Interesting.
So that's where the bigger, stronger, faster, and put yourself in a position where it's just a matter what seed you're going to get, so you can keep grinding and keep improving instead of, having to rest guys, just to make sure that you get that next game.
Obviously, the portal's a little bit different this year. Last year, it would have opened up today. Now this year, it opens up after the national championship game finishes. What do the next couple of days and weeks look like for you as you all prepare for the portal? Obviously, you and your staff probably get to sleep a little bit more than you have been the last couple of weeks, but I'm sure it's a different feel this time last year, going through a coaching change and scrambling in the portal. What does it look like for you this year?
Well, we got to meet with our players, just seeing the goals of everyone that has eligibility. Obviously, we like our guys, so we got to build around that first. Then it's keying on guys that are, about guys that are coming available. What are they really looking for? Doing your deep dive on them, and you'll have a longer deep dive. First, do they have talent? What's their positional length? Then who are they? And then researching all their background. What really makes them tick? Because the way that we do things, we can't be good if we don't have a level of competitiveness to us because of how hard we're going to play.
Yeah.
This is about wanting to come to Texas A&M and enhance your future, but also Texas A&M being a force in college basketball. And so it's got to be both, right? You can say, well, they need to come here just all for Texas A&M. Well, that's we want everybody to come here for Texas A&M. But there's also the development of them, of how do they see themselves progressing individually. And we want to be able to provide both, but it can't obviously just be, well, I just here to be a better player. I'm here to score points. That'll never work. And we do want people that fit in well with Texas A&M, right? Because we want the people here to be proud when they see that our teams play, win, lose, or draw, that are going to play with heart. And I think you saw that from this team. We could be outmatching some games physically or whatnot, but it was a group that was going to play with a lot of heart. Now we want to do that, and we want to be, going to be playing deep into March.
I got a two-parter before you go. And one of them, he talks about Aggie and the immediate impact as soon as he got out there to practice. And I think everybody, as the year went on, saw that. Are there a player or two that that you're really proud of, kind of like in terms of the buy-in and the culture fit that came just like such a long way from when you guys started to season's end on Saturday?
Yeah, I think, I bring this up. I think Pop Isaacs really came a long way. Like, Pop, there's a lot of people out there that maybe can appear like, I'm not talking about our team with this, can appear like a total soldier, all-in kind of person on the outside, and then have something on the inside that they're really not that. I think Pop's just mannerisms appear worse sometimes than what's going on inside. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just how he communicates. I mean, he could be telling you, it'd be, Mom, I won the lottery. I'm getting $1 million. If someone else from the outside says, is he yelling at his mom?
Yeah.
Right? That's just his mannerisms are that way. But Pop's never had a role where he's come off the bench. And you know this. I mean, I was not easy on Pop. I mean, he didn't, some games he wasn't playing a lot. But he stuck with it, and I think he knew that unless he was going to play all out all the time, he wasn't going to play. And so he made that decision that I'm going to give everything I got to it, overcame injury, and became a good player for us. And so I was really proud to see that, not just for this, but just for him overall, to take on that role, to go through the ups and downs, and to persevere, to lead this team to the tournament. And so that was that was great to see. You got to see another side of that with Zach Clements.
Yeah.
In terms of just him growing into a role of not just being a part of a team, but like, hey, this is a key player who had some really, really great games in SEC play, and you saw his confidence start to blossom. People didn't know, we didn't put it out there the last couple of weeks. He was playing with a really tough injury on him. He had a foot injury. He was getting, some injections before games just to play. It affected him in the last game a little bit, I believe. But just seeing the confidence of him, seeing Pop being balled in, that makes you proud as a coach, and that was great to see.
And then my last one is, how many games this year, Luke? Total?
34.
34 games. Is there one that, if I was saying you got to put that game tape together and show it to somebody that you wanted to play for, you said, this is Bucky Ball, whether it's a win or a loss, whatever, is there one game this year, if you could only have one of those, what would that one be?
Well, I love the St. Mary's game because people forget this, that St. Mary's won the league 4 years in a row. They won it this year that Gonzaga's in.
Yeah.
4 years in a row. And I really just thought that was our guys came to take over that game. Well, there's nothing sweeter than going on the SEC on the road, having every fan wanting to kill you and your team walking out of there. And, man, walking out of that arena on the plains.
Yeah.
With all that stuff that happened, man, that was
your post-game interview in that one. That was just like, I'm watching that going, I could feel the adrenaline that you were feeling right there. Like, the words don't even come out. You're like, let's get out of here.
Unbelievable, But if you wanted to show a sequence of play, it would be when we made that big run. We had some great runs this year. But if you wanted to show somebody a recruit, buddy, this is why you want to play in the SEC, you would show them after that game.
Yeah.
Don't you want to go do this?
Yeah.
Like, don't you love this? You know, that would be it. Right. And that's not any district. I got a lot of friends from Auburn and all that, but that's the way you want it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Bucky, thanks for making a few minutes, man. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
All right,
that was fun.
We'll see everybody on Tuesday morning. Thanks very much.